Do we need to crack one for this?
That's typically how we do it. What is flapping, feather fluffers? Welcome to Toucan Rant. We're just two toucans with two tall cans who can rant because we got two cans. And as always...
Two tall cans.
See, that's where it gets fucked up because that's not how it was originally scripted. You threw in that tall bit. And that's why I have that weird speech stutter thing, because I can't remember which I'm supposed to go with.
I'm just asking. I'm just going to throw this in here. Are they tall cans or are they short cans?
Well, we've got a glass of
Well, we got
IPA.
some long necks. Some tall, long necks.
Okay, so we're coming. We're just two toucans with two different varieties of drinks. A tall neck and a tall can. And that's kind of fucking up the whole flow, but that's okay.
Who can rant? Because we got two different drinks of varying varieties of beer.
We are going to get inebriated tonight.
Fuck yeah, it's a fucking snowstorm. I don't think we need to do the whole fucking thing.
Well,
Across the table from me is the motherfucker in a bright-ass, yellow-ass shirt who probably came straight from work, is JD.
And across from me is the guy who keeps playing fucking Star Wars nonstop, Jeremy. Oh, yeah. Plus it's his birthday, everybody.
Yeah, well,
So send some wishes.
Well, you know, it was on Wednesday, but you know, you're about the same because work finally got a card to me today. But I gotta say, I don't even remember what's the name of the Star Wars game I'm playing. Jedi Order or some bullshit. I don't even know. Fallen Order. There we go. Yeah. See, I don't even know the name. It pisses me off so much.
All right. You don't even read the load screen. You just get that anger straight away.
I mean, I downloaded it, and then after that, I was like, all right, Star Wars.
Jeremy's going to the dark side.
I've been pretty good. Pretty good, I gotta say.
Do they actually have the differentiations?
No, you just do good stuff. It's pretty much just bad guys.
Yeah, lots of stormtroopers.
Lots of stormtroopers, lots of aliens, lots of Wookiees. There's some Wookiees in there, but you don't kill them.
No, they're your friends.
Well, I mean, you help them. Took out an AT-AT. That was pretty badass. Got to drive the AT-AT.
Did you take it out on foot? Or were you in a...
Yeah, you like climb up the side of it and then get in the cockpit and you fucking and then you take over the fucking seat and you drive that motherfucker straight into basically hell.
See, the best part is I don't think those are actually... There are no sound effects in this game. It's just you constantly making them on your own.
It could be. I mean, between me and the kid, like, the kid's like, Dad, you died. Yes, I did, Kai. Yes, I did. Are you going to do it again? Because he stole all your XP? Because he's heard me yell at the TV, you motherfucker, you took all my XP! And then, you know, fortunately, I've taught him, like, you don't say naughty words.
Man, I can't wait for him to be saying that at school. Not the swear part, but, like, anytime anything bad, you took my XP!
Okay, so I have, like... kind of bad road rage because I feel like I drive around all the time, like going and getting stuff. And like there are times we sit at stop and go lights or there's cars in front of me not going fast enough and Kai's like, do the speed limit! And I'm like, yeah, that's me because I can't swear, so now I yell like really fun things at them like, oh, great driving, buddy. Glad you could go the speed limit. And he'll be like, yeah, go the speed limit, buddy. And I'm like, yeah.
I applaud people when I go by, when I see them do something fucking retarded. Or I give them thumbs up, double thumbs up.
Dude, it is so... Oh my god, I hate driving. Anyway.
Oh, you'd have had fun this time, today. Going 45, yeah, going 45, and people are still on my bumper trying to pass.
Yes. Yes, that's
yeah,
when,
good old Wisconsinites.
That is when my middle finger's flying out the window like...
No, I was just chilling. Oscar's getting all agitated because I'm not petting him because I got both hands on the steering wheel. It's like, it's okay, buddy. We're going to get there. You gotta chill.
Yeah, it's not nice out. That's for sure.
I almost turned around and then decided that had come this far anyways. Turning around would just add the exact same travel time.
Yeah, I did
Plus,
not.
we didn't do a thing last week, a
Yeah,
cast.
I
so-
did not realize how bad it was snowing. I was like almost about to text you and be like, "Yeah, if you don't want to come, that's cool, but you're here. We're casting. We good." So, what do
This
you
is kinda
want?
yours, but I didn't.
This is
read.
mine.
Yeah.
This is mine. Okay, so let's. I don't want to start with the comics right away. I guess I would like to start with, you sent me the Rob Liefeld article entitled "Rob Liefeld on Most Comic Books Today: Endless Talk Fest, Just Cackling Heads."
Yeah.
And
Yeah, let me just tell you why I sent that to you.
okay,
So like I know there's a thing where we like keep discussing about what's good comics, what's bad comics, what should we keep reading, what shouldn't we keep reading, should we keep following along on this storyline because we hope it's going to get better? What's the difference between like the current comics that are coming out, and some of them are good, but a lot of them just feel repetitive and derivative and they're not going anywhere, they're just treading water. But then we go back and we read some really good things. Like you just dropped Black Summer, Divine and the Wicked, Wildstorm, and Fear Agent, and you said no, these are good things to read. And so I was thinking about that too, because I know I have it's been coming up a lot when I get my stack. It's a lot smaller now, but I get kind of disheartened when I look at it because I don't know if it's gonna be good. Because like I had said the other day, like what are books that you want to read when you're sober? Because sometimes when I drink, like all I want to do is I want to read. But I had a stack of comics and I didn't want to tap into didn't want to crack any of them open because I wanted to enjoy them in their full, pristine, uninebriated, diluted state.
and let's say this: remember them.
Yeah, but then I read them, and I was like, ah, fuck, I could have just read these drunk and it wouldn't have mattered. They might have been better then.
Yeah. So, I think it's interesting. Like the main topic of this is how, and I think if you look at comics, like I think Liefeld is definitely taking a shot. Personally, I felt at X-Men right now.
You think it's just X-Men?
No, I think it's comics in general, but like right now, like X-Men to me is very wordy. And I keep hoping it
Yeah.
goes away. And I know when I read House and Powers, I was like, dude, those fucking, just those pages of just like information is great. But I thought they'd get away from it.
But they were
And
still wordy. Hawks and Pox were wordy.
they were. But I think it was establishing something. I don't know, man. Like, all right, so I was thinking about this a lot. Because he takes a lot of pot shots at a lot of comics running today and saying, if you want good stuff, look at 90s and I think he even said 80s, right? 80s,
Yeah.
90s.
It's pretty much all the old stuff.
Yeah.
All the iconic
Yeah. Okay, so you look at the iconic works, and like in my mind, my iconic works include Alan Moore's fucking
Swamp Thing?
yep.
That's one shot. Remember last night?
Oh yeah, yep. Sorry, forgot we were playing the shot game. I talked about Swamp Thing. So one of the big things for me is Alan Moore's Swamp Thing. What is these? Excuse me.
One more to go. Bless you.
Folks, sorry.
They come in threes.
Most of the time.
Get used to it.
Anyway, I think of that, and I gotta say that is a rather wordy work. And then I think of this is my main sticking point. Warren Ellis. He's wordy as fuck.
Yeah.
But I love it.
Well, there's
Like there is a difference, and I think Liefeld. I don't think he meant it the way he meant it. I think he meant.
no, he did.
Well, yeah, but I think comics today there's a lot of words that don't do jack shit versus like an Alan Moore, even Watchmen. If you look at Alan Moore's Watchmen, which we'll talk about in a little bit as well, like that's wordy as fuck, but like every word actually means something. It's not just words to fill a page for the sake of filling a fucking page.
Which is the big thing that I had with the whole Sandman universe, because Neil Gaiman's Sandman is pretty much just prose with pictures, but every single word was crafting an actual story, a narrative that if the word before it was not there, the whole structure would not be built. It'd just be empty.
But let me ask you this. Is that a comment on the editors of today, or is that a comment on the writers of today? Because
it would be both.
Because I feel like Liefeld was attacking the publishers and granted, yes, the publishers are in charge of who they're having write, but like, so let's just look at the negative right now. So I think of like Neil Gaiman. Okay, he's a perfect example of you read any of his stuff, and I'm gonna pick out his short stories. Where I read a story about him building a chair, and I could not have been more fucking into him building that goddamn chair. Like, I was like, motherfucker, I'm gonna go build a chair. Oh wait, I already do that for a living. But
is that why you liked it so much?
I don't know. It was awesome. Like, Neil Gaiman has a way with words. So Neil Gaiman can throw a shit ton of words on a page with pictures, and I'm just like, oh, the holy fucking mecca here.
Well, no, that's the thing. That's where the differentiation between the writing styles come into it. Because comics are meant to be wordy.
So do you think... I'm sorry to interrupt you, but do you think it's a commentary on the writers today versus the writers of the 80s and 90s?
Which exact quote are you going off of?
I don't have any exact quotes. I just kind of... What I surmised from it is the 80s and 90s were the heyday. If you want good comics, read the 80s and 90s. And the shit today is too wordy for the sake of being wordy, and it doesn't go anywhere. And you know what I think? Like a prime example of that, at least DC-wise, because I'm not all up in the Marvel universe. I know you are more so than I. But a prime example of DC was when we didn't do it on here. We shit all over Drowned Earth. It was fucking terrible.
Yeah.
There was so much prose in that shit that did absolutely nothing. You set up a whole backstory for this, and this is going to tie into the next thing, the video that you sent me. But, like, you set up this whole fucking thing, this whole backstory for maybe an issue or two of action.
There was an issue or two of action?
Okay, well, there you go.
There might have been 3 pages of action.
See, and that's what I'm saying. Like, and that, well, let's talk about this. So, like, X-Men, you're like, I can't get through this, and you did not want to shit on it because you know how much I like X-Men. And I'm like, yeah, you could shit all over it because I'm considering dropping, like, the majority of it. I read the most recent issue of X-Men. I think I'm on number 4. I'm behind because of the holidays, Midtown got behind again. But I read X-Men number 4. That main X-Men title, which is Hickman, has me intrigued.
Is that the one with the old ladies?
The
horticulturist clan? I thought it was X-Men number 4.
Well, I didn't give it to you yet.
Those X-Men number 4, it's in that stack. Or 3 is in that stack. Yeah. X-Men 3.
Yeah. Let me take a look here.
So in one of the X-Men, these 4 hooded and masked individuals come through one of the gates, and they just start going ham on the whatever mutants show up. They spray them with some goo, and they come and they show up because they want to steal the flowers so they can engineer a way to destroy the mutants because they actually want to destroy the Earth. Yep. But the fact that it's 4 old grannies who keep saying swear words, but they're like, you're such a P word in my B word. It was hilarious and it was cool because you don't ever see old ladies just kicking ass, especially the X-Men, who are supposed to be some of the most powerful beings in
Well,
the Marvel universe.
let me
Unless
tell-
those were C-list heroes that they took on.
Yeah, I don't know.
I thought they took on Cyclops.
Well, and that's something I want to talk about in the next topic as well. But like, I didn't even remember that till you brought it up, and I paged through it, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that happened," because X-Men #4 has nothing to do with that.
Oh, which is what I was gonna say about all of those is each single issue seems to be its own standalone story that has nothing to do with what previously happened in the series, and none of them seem to interweave as much as the back reading order sort of suggests it's supposed to,
I agree.
which got really confusing.
I agree.
The only thing that actually mattered was Professor Xavier dying in X-Force #1, and then that had ramifications-ish through a couple of the titles, and it's
Yeah.
a big deal in Marauders because they're trying to establish their councils.
But not really.
No,
I'm gonna tell you, going ahead of that, not really.
not really.
They all no.
They say something in there.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. They all acknowledge he's dead.
No, Jean
That's
Grey.
it. And then let me tell you, he's back. Surprise, because they have this fucking thing where they can fucking bring anybody back. That happens. They bring him back, and then they just continue on as if nothing happens. But he makes the acknowledgement like, "You could take me out, but you're never gonna kill me because I have X, Y, and Z." Like, I don't know.
Hold on, I have to go into a theory
Okay.
with that. It's maybe conspiratorial. All right, so we got the X-Men can keep regenerating them, or like they can reincarnate themselves after each death, and that's an ability that only comes out of Krakoa's existence, correct?
That we know of, yes.
All right, and then Krakoa is an entity that feeds off the life force of other living beings. It kills all the others.
Yep.
And Krakoa is suddenly becoming much, much stronger. And the only reason it's getting stronger is because now it's affiliated with the mutants. It's a parasite.
Well, and they're bringing in more mutants into Krakoa.
Yeah, and Krakoa's getting stronger.
But, well, yeah. Oh, I like where you're going with this
Yeah.
because currently, let's back up a minute. Currently, there is one mutant who has like this regenerative thing that is feeding the life force of Krakoa. They do. I don't remember who, but they do acknowledge that fact. That
I think there were
there's-
two of them.
Two? Okay.
Yeah.
One or two. I remember that. I just don't remember who. But that's a important point to make.
Well, no, the whole thing with X-Men is there are so many characters, I know almost none of who these people are.
Okay, so
And I instantly hate at least half of them.
okay. So let's go back to Liefeld for a minute. Okay.
Oh, we don't want to finish the conspiratory thing on X-Men?
Okay, go ahead.
So then, after each time they die, are they actually coming back with the same abilities, like the same memories and soul will that they had previously to dying? Or are they suddenly is Krakoa incepting their consciousness and becoming more and more alive? Because there isn't really an enemy in this series thing yet that...
The humans, because
But
they
then,
attacked.
fuck the humans. The
They
humans-
No. That has been the long-standing enemy of the mutants.
But they're not a threat.
In the previous times, you had the Professor X way of dealing with mutants or dealing with the humans, and he had his thing. And then you also had Uncanny, which was Scott Summers and Magneto dealing with it their way. They were obviously more aggressive than.
But Hox and Pox made it seem that the true enemy to the X-Men is the parallax entity thing in outer space coming. And almost every one of the endings in that they got undone by sentinels or other mutants or space beings, never humans, because humans suck.
True.
That's why the X-Men exists. It's the next evolution of humanity. And so, Krakoa is the only thing that can survive, and it's creating its own deviation on the mutagen gene by inserting itself into it. But see, that's when I got confused because there was that weird demon dude who showed up when the two islands fucked. And they haven't talked about that guy at all. I have no clue what the whole plot line is in reference to at all.
There is so much going on, and I felt like I needed to read all the titles, so much so that I bought New Mutants and I read all fucking 4 issues of New Mutants. And I was like, yeah, I'm dropping this. I don't know these characters. I don't care about these characters. And maybe that's a commentary on my naivety. Maybe I'm naive to it. I don't know. I haven't read it. I don't know it.
I think it's unfamiliarity. You don't have the whole nostalgia member berries in your head.
That's something I want to talk about next topic too. But like, I don't know. X-Men, I'm telling you this. Excalibur, I really want to know about what the fuck Apocalypse is up to. But I give 0 fucks about any of the characters. 0. Absolutely 0 fucks.
I like Gambit. I like
so do
Rogue.
I. So do I. But you know what? I don't care about him in that book. There is nothing that has me drawn into that book. The main X-Men title, the Hickman title, I like. I dig that. Marauders, I like Emma Frost. I like kind of what they're doing, but the most recent issue, I was kind of like, yep, you're pretty close to getting dropped.
It's
the
all
most recent issue
and politics.
Yep,
and
the most
Marauders.
recent issue of Excalibur, I was like, yeah, you're done.
Hold on. I thought it was kind of cool. The ideas. This is one of the things that always comes back
Excalibur?
in the comics. Yeah. Well,
Okay.
no, like any comic in general. It's always the idea, the possibilities that they're bringing forth. The whole idea that for whatever fucking reason, the little baby can turn into a dragon. And they're like, oh yeah. And they are explaining why you never bring dragons into actual fights. Because of the health. Yeah, because...
Is it shoujo?
Yeah. Sounds shoji.
Yep.
They have that hellfire, and when that hellfire is emitted inside of the other world, other realm, it opens a rift between that where mythological creatures can actually come into the human world, and that's an amazing idea. Having what they have, they had a griffin, Hydra.
I think it's Shogun.
Oh. And a chimera, and they're all attacking very key points in the human world. So it's a cool idea. There's going to be mutants fighting mythological beasts on Earth. It's a cool idea.
It's a cool idea.
It's not going to be anywhere.
Been done better.
It's not going to be done well.
Better.
Yeah.
No, it's been done better.
Oh.
Yeah.
Where?
Like that whole thing happened. I'm almost positive. Like Jubilee has the baby in the X-Men run I read when I first started getting back into comics. So I don't know how many years ago that was, but like he's pretty cool. I just don't know about this. I don't know.
So in that, you're a big you fear for kids in media. It kind of tugs at your heartstrings a little bit differently than it does for me. But in that book, do you feel that the baby is ever in any peril?
No.
But that's the reason he's there.
I couldn't give 2 fucks less about him. And that is a commentary on the fucking book, which is why I'm considering dropping it. Like, I do not care. I don't know why, but I don't fucking care. I like X-Force, I like X-Men, and I like Fallen Angels.
But that's done after issue 7.
Oh yeah, I believe it. I like I like bats. These are all like not fringe characters, but like
C tier.
yeah. And you know how I am about the C tier hero. Take a shot, Swamp Thing. Take another shot, John Constantine. Like,
Swamp Thing is a double shot because it's the second time.
well,
That was
I'm just
answered.
saying, like, well, let's throw a fucking John Constantine into this, and you guys are gonna be taking a shit ton of shots because we're talking Hellblazer later.
That doesn't count.
But I'm just saying, like, I like the people who are not the main characters. And X-Force is not even being done well. But let me back up to, you brought up the whole reincarnation thing. Did you ever finish that X-Force run that I gave you where Cable's reincarnating
No,
himself? Okay.
I
So
forgot.
Cable reincarnates himself. Do you still have those books? I think you gave them back.
No, I was reading.
Oh,
them
okay.
on Marvel
Okay.
Unlimited. Did you get it yet?
No.
You could be getting all of those books in 6 months for the low price of $6.
Yeah, I'm aware. Anyway.
Hashtag sponsor us, Marvel.
What? Yeah. Yeah, give me a goddamn free subscription. I'll read all your goddamn shit.
And we'll tell you how great
it
they
is.
are.
Except X-Men right now. The main X-Men book is good, but
It's not
I'm
going
not
anywhere.
gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. You're right. It's a lot of bureaucracy shit, and I don't know why, but I like it.
That's Marauders. It's bureaucracy and trying to assemble.
X-Men's doing the same thing.
Were they doing that? Oh, well. In 4 they weren't. Or 3 they weren't. Maybe in 4 they are.
Yeah. Anyway. I don't remember the point I was trying to make. I'm sorry.
Something with Rob Liefeld and his talking about.
Oh, okay. So there's an extreme of a lot of words and not, doing a whole lot. Now let me ask you about Tom King's run on Batman is done, right? I gotta say, those Batmans were some of my quickest reads. There's dialogue, but I felt like it was to the point and it moved on. Now I don't agree with everything they did in there. I'm not like 100% happy with the ending. I didn't, we talked about that last time. I don't want to delve into that.
You can bring up main points.
But let's look at Tom King's Batman. Let's look at Tom King in general. Tom King is a man of, I like to think, few words, but makes a point. So, is Rob Liefeld talking about him? Would you consider Batman a shitty run compared to previous Batmans?
No. The only other Batman run that I'm aware, I'm very related to or know enough about is Snyder's 52.
Yeah, but I mean, we've read stuff previous to that.
But they're not really main title Batman runs. Tom
Okay.
King's run was better than Batman Eternal.
Okay.
That was a rush. I don't know. That was a weekly book though for an entire year. So that was 52 issues, which fit perfectly into that whole thing. Tom King had a tendency to drop very heavy things though, even though he was using very few words. And some of his stories didn't even have actual dialogue between characters. There was the issue with the Penguin where it was just the reading of a poem. Don't remember which poem, but it interwove very nicely with what was actually happening in the pictures on the panels, and it fit. But I don't think Tom King has the same things that X-Men has, where it's just people talking, saying nothing, but trying to sound like they're smart. A lot of the dialogue in X-Men, I would equate to when you're talking to somebody and they're just giving you like very surface level responses. Like,
Yeah.
Going to
agree.
a gas station and having a quick, brief conversation with somebody, or you meet somebody in the supermarket, or you see a friend,
Oh,
but you're
you
very.
like Pringles? I like Pringles too.
Yeah,
What's your favorite flavor? Sour cream and onion? Me too.
that's pretty much all the dialogue is in X-Men. It's saying stuff that because they have to say stuff.
But it's not really furthering the story, which is something we had a problem with Drowned Earth too.
Yeah.
And it's kind of an issue across. I would agree. It's kind of an issue across comics across the board. I mean, you likened it to manga too, where you're like, yeah, you have a couple down issues here and there, but the story's progressing.
Yeah. No, and that's. I don't even remember what I had picked up in my stack last time when I had made that statement about not wanting. Like, anything that's on your pull list, you should only have if you don't want to read it while you're drunk because you want to remember it. I don't even remember what was in my stack that I thought was so important that I couldn't read it while I was drunk because I read it sober and still don't remember it. But I got all of that Seven Deadly Sins, and I just read that all the way through, and it didn't have even the lull issues went somewhere. There was enough in it that furthered the story.
Let me pause you right there and ask: is there a difference between reading week to week, month to month, versus reading a trade?
Well, here's the thing. If you're only reading month to month, the content within that month's worth of reading should fill you enough for an entire month.
Well, let's not even. I want to go further than that. I think it should be memorable.
Yeah. And the fact that I don't remember what I even read from
Says a lot. So
this current year.
let me ask you this, and this is something that is kind of deviating, but I'm wondering if this is what Liefeld's talking about. Not even talking about, but it's something that kind of. So we have a lot of comics that say a lot of shit and don't do a lot of shit. Then we have comics that people get pissed off about because you're changing the character and all of this bullshit. So my question is which is better? Do you want a character, and you're gonna say both, but you can't say both. Do you want a story where where you're developing a character into a completely unknown place? Or would you rather just have the character with his main characteristics intact and a story be told with that character?
Oh, the first one. But you have to start with the
So-
basic premise.
So, but let me ask you this, because Comicsgate gets pissed off because you're changing characters in ways that they shouldn't be changed. Okay,
they're pissed because they're changing characters to fit an agenda with the current culture.
Okay,
that deviates from the actual core conceit of the character.
Fuck that.
You brought up.
No. I'm just saying fuck that right now. Because these characters, when you have a character that's been around as long as like Batman, Superman, like these characters have been around for a long fucking time. There have been a lot of fucking writers on them. They've developed them in 20 Ways to China. A new writer comes on and he wants to do something different, and just because it does not fit your agenda, you get pissed off about it. That's fine. That's fine.
No.
That's fine. That's the same thing as politics. You can get upset about it. But my question is if you're going to develop a character in a different way, is it better to have that, or is it in a new way that you never, in a new light that you never saw them? Right? So like, I can't think of a good example other than Tom King killing Alfred. Alfred's never been killed. Well, that's not true either.
Because everything that's happened in comics has already happened, and they're just doing it again. It comes back to the Doomsday Clock thing, what Johns was saying. All of these stories are going to get reborn, recrafted, re-envisioned by the current generation to tell a story using that avatar. But the
So you're
issue,
really not developing the character at all.
yeah, but you are, because each iteration of that character is a facet on the diamond that is that character's core essence. But some of those facets
Till they
shine.
reboot it.
But well, then you just add a new facet on it. But some of those things are more shiny than others. It's any piece of jewelry that you get. You'll see, or the Hope Diamond. You only see the top of it because you can't see the bottom of it. There are some parts that are better than other parts. And the thing is, what I think we both want is the same sort of structure that a novel has, where you actually see a character in book one become somebody completely different, but still has the same heart as the person in the beginning at the end of book 17. You want that journey and that development.
You're right.
But what's happening in comics will never replicate that because of those reboots and because of the current day beliefs that people have for these characters and the writers trying to put their own thoughts and feelings into it without adhering to what the actual character wants.
One, if you look at the 80s and 90s, you had reboots, I guess, but like a lot of the stuff that we really enjoy and love never really fell into that. I mean, Sandman wasn't affected by the reboot.
Much to their chagrin, I imagine.
Oh, I believe it. Swamp Thing was not affected until New 52.
But you liked New 52.
He lived in Vertigo. I enjoyed New 52.
Dude, you said that was one of your top things of the decade that
of
you
the
read.
decade, yeah, but let's put that in perspective here. I read New 52 Swamp Thing. And the reason I read let's get into it. The reason I read Swamp Thing was because I used to watch the Swamp Thing TV show with my mom on the Sci-Fi Network. Like, we did that. I don't know why. I don't know why my mom watched it. We watched it together. I enjoyed it. And then I went and I was not in a great point in my life. I made some mistakes. I did some fucked up shit.
It's funny that you took the avatar of the green as your...
Well, yeah, okay, so let's okay. So some people got in trouble for drugs, specifically pot, and I needed an outlet. And my two things, because all of a sudden I quit smoking pot, I had all this money, and my two things were Warhammer 40K, I bought a lot of models, and I got back into reading comic books. Prior to that, I never read a superhero comic. I was all into Star Wars, manga that you had given me, Shonen Jump. I liked comics. I liked the idea. What was Tuxedo Gin? I was into that because of Penguin. But
Wait, Swamp Thing was the first superhero comic you read? First super quotation marks hero.
Yeah. Yeah, I picked up that, and then I picked up Guardians of the Galaxy. Those were the two things I got into, because I was intrigued by the raccoon on the cover, and then some guy would not stop talking to me. But previous to that, I had been to the Fond du Lac Chimera, and I saw Swamp Thing, and I was like, hey, I watched that as a kid. Oh, I also picked up. That's also when I picked up the reboot of Shaolin Cowboy, which, let me tell you, that was a whole fucking thing. Shaolin Cowboy's the shit.
Oh yeah, but no, that was one of the things I wanted to bring up, Shaolin Cowboy, with the whole writing thing. But we'll come back to that.
Okay, so Swamp Thing was the New 52. Swamp Thing was my shit because that's what was out when I went and bought the books. I think I jumped in at issue like 12 or 13. I went back and bought I now own the entire run of New 52, including the number 0 issue when they rebooted it. Like,
And
I,
floppies.
huh?
And
And floppies.
floppies,
And
nice.
floppies. I love Swamp Thing. And the natural progression when you go online is like, have you read Alan Moore's Swamp Thing? Like, so you go to that. And I will say, reading Alan Moore's Swamp Thing, and mind you, now I am like a Swamp Thing fanatic and I own like all the trades that are out there. I'm buying floppies to fucking fill in the trades that aren't released yet. Alan Moore's Swamp Thing is the pinnacle. That is the fucking mecca. That is where you go for a great like, don't get me wrong. The Golden Age Swamp Thing, the original number 1 through whatever, it's very good. I enjoy it, but if you look at it from character development, nah, there's not much there. But this also falls into the sweet spot of the 80s and 90s where you weren't rebooting a character all the time. This is what I'm trying to get back to, is like, this stuff remained in not a time capsule, but it was able to develop without being like, all right, we got to reboot the universe, guys. We're going to kill Superman and we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and all this crazy shit for sales. And I think that's what Liefeld's getting at, is we have all these gimmicks, and the next topic we're going to talk about is that I want to talk about that video we watched. You sent me, you watched, then I watched, about Watchmen. Is like these events, and he says it in that video. If you want to reboot something, you don't need to have an event and a story to tell us you're rebooting it. If you want to make it a lighter universe, fucking talk to your goddamn editors and make it a lighter universe. If you want it to be a darker universe, talk to your editors and writers and tell them to write darker. We don't need, and I think this is where it comes into being an enlightened reader, and you're a fucking goddamn English major, and I'm a reader from a very young age.
Writing major. Writing major.
I'm sorry, writing. I said reading. I'm sorry.
No, you said English. Oh, dude, can you be a reading major?
Hold on,
That
hold on.
Shit.
So you are a writing major, and you've been reading, like, you and I think we connected on that when we first met. We both read a lot of books. Yeah. Reading was always a part of my life. I've been reading since fucking goddamn kindergarten. Like, I wanted to read. I was always encouraged to read. So you fucking read this shit and you're like, what the fuck is this shit? It's almost like a middle finger to the face.
But the thing is, when you reboot the thing, that's a good indicator to current readers that things are going to shift. It's also a good jumping on point for people who have never read comics. Oh shit, there's this huge event, let's get into it. Or it's also a good jumping in point for people who had been reading, didn't like what was happening, and they see that this event is happening, and they get back into it because of the event.
So the people who don't like it are being insulted because you have to have this event to fucking tell you that it's going to change. 1. 2, a new reader, I get it. I was intimidated about getting in comics too because I can't find a number 1 point or a place to start off. I had that sticking point. I'm not going to lie. I'm a fucking weird ass person about that shit. It's a problem for me. But you know what? If you did better advertisement or let's call it a soft reboot to a number 1, to a place that somebody can jump in, I get that. But this whole, like, taking it back to the very beginning is fucking stupid. That video, when he talks about it, he's like, we don't need that. Which, I'm going to contradict that with another point where he talks about Doomsday Clock saying you as a beginner reader, you should, or as a first time reader, you should not check this out because you have no idea what the fuck is going on. Yeah, you're right. I honestly think there are a lot of comics out there you can't fucking read it because you have no idea about the past, the characters. New X-Men is a perfect example. I don't know these characters. I give zero fucks about them, and then you have a shitty ass fucking writer who does not make me care about them.
So this is
because he's banking on the fact that I have a history with them. So that's where I think the writers of the 90s, 80s and 90s kind of had it easier, where this thing has been growing and growing and growing, and then they took it and they fucking blew that shit up. And now comics is so mainstream, you have so many people trying to get into it that rightfully so, as a business, if I were in business, rightfully so, DC and Marvel's like, holy shit, we gotta fucking reboot this and make this simplistic so we can get these people back into this shit. Or to get these new people into this shit so we have future sales. We have a new generation. And then you have these dinosaurs that are... Okay, I mean dinosaurs in all respect, in all due respect.
like Rob Liefeld.
You have people who have been in the comics industry, or you have people who have been reading comics that are in their 40s and 50s, who have been reading them since they're 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, and I can't relate to that. I don't have that big of a thing. But when I read Swamp Thing, I've read the first Swamp Thing ever, and I've read the newest Swamp Things. I'm waiting for more Swamp Things. I've seen the progression of the character. Am I happy that they killed him off and now we got fucking, what's his nuts as the fucking King of the Flowers, which is now the Green? Not really, but...
Dude, I'm digging it.
I'm digging it.
I'm having fun.
I honestly think it's pretty cool that they brought this character back.
Jason Woodrow.
Yeah, Woodrow. Thank you.
Yeah.
You bring Woodrow back. He's been a fucking character for a long fucking time.
Ladies and gentlemen, who is the Swamp Thing #1 fan? Just saying. I knew the character's name.
Okay. I'll give it to you. I give zero fucks. Zero fucks right now. As much beer as in me, I give zero fucks. So you have this progression, right? And now I know I've mentioned it to you. I'm like, no. They're doing Swamp Thing dirty here. I've done it with Hellblazer. Because I've gone back and read from the beginning. So when you have a guy like Liefeld saying, I get it. I get that. When you have Comicsgate guys saying, blah, 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 I get that.
No,
it is not the same.
Right.
And it's never going to be the same.
But it's going to be the same for current day readers who are reading it. Because all these people who are saying things were so much better back in the 2000s, in the 90s and the 80s and the 70s, they all read these comics at a young age, and that has become the cornerstone of their existence with these characters. This is when they formed their bond.
And I'm going to agree with you. It's the same thing with music.
Yeah. The whole, your brain develops and gets attached to something.
I hate
you can't.
new punk rock. I shouldn't say that. I love the Interrupters. They are fucking amazing.
Is there new punk rock?
Well, it's like punk ska. I fucking
That sounds
love it.
amazing.
Yeah, no, I played their music, and I'm pretty sure you like that. My Crazy Family. This Is My Family.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yep. I love New Rancid. But I still hang with my shit. My shit from when I was into it. Like, I've gone on a crazy adventure. You can look around down in this basement. There are fucking 300, 400, 500 CDs down here.
At some point in time, you ladies and gentlemen will be able to see it too.
I love music, but I always return home to that first fucking thing. And that's why, like, I like the Liefeld article. I think he has a point.
Well, no. See, the thing is he has a point, but he also, I think people were taking the wrong message from it because they're taking that he's saying that comics now suck. They don't inherently and necessarily suck. He is actually trying to push these people to be crafting better stories. Ladies and gentlemen, beer break number 1.
I apologize. I gotta pee so fucking bad. And we're back. Fucking tilt those tall cans.
Chink. So, I think Rob Liefeld was just trying to tell people that they have to write better. And you were saying that Alan Moore was the peak of Swamp Thing. Don't you want the next peak?
Alan Moore was a peak in Swamp Thing. I think Scott Snyder did great things with Swamp Thing when he did it. He wasn't on it the whole run. Charles Soule did a great job.
But those defining moments, don't you want the next pinnacle of storytelling that can be told through that character's eyes?
Yeah. So here's what I'm saying. Tom King, if you're not busy, maybe do a little more Swamp Thing other than the winter special.
He's going to Adam Strange.
Yeah, I know, but we could do that. Scott Snyder, you want to hop back on Swamp Thing? Do that up. Jeff Johns, you want to do some Swamp Thing? I'd be interested in your Swamp Thing. Scotty Young, please fucking write and illustrate that shit. Like,
No, I think he only works for Marvel.
Scotty Young, fuck Marvel. Come over to the DC side. Like, I'm just saying, man. Like, there are Mark Miller did Swamp Thing, and it was good. It was great. Like, there are a lot of pinnacles in Swamp Thing. Brian K. Vaughan's take on Swamp Thing with Tefe, fucking amazing. You have a character there that you fucking developed through the shit years of Swamp Thing that are not collected in trades, and I understand why they're not collected in trades because I'm reading them, and are they great? No, but I love Swamp Thing, and that is the one thing I do not understand is if you're invested in a character, isn't it cool just to have the character in a story? Like,
Well, that's your argument.
like, yeah, it always is. Like, all right, Justice League Dark, Tinian.
But you're kind of pissed at Tinian because he's doing your boy's Swamp Thing wrong.
I mean, he killed him, and now we got Woodrow.
No, he's goo. He's not dead.
Well, the Parliament's dead. He killed the Parliament. The Parliament is like
he
the main
changed
thing
him.
of Swamp Thing. Yeah, he changed it.
To the
He changed it.
Something of
And you know
roses,
what? You know what?
flowers.
You know what? I'm not going to stand on a soapbox and say he's a fucking idiot for it. I'm on for the ride. Like, I don't get it. I don't get... Like, I'll hate on something if it's bad. Don't get me wrong. I'll tell you it's hot shit. But in the back of my head, I'm like, huh? I still got a little, I got some Swampy. You know what I mean? You got to take
Kinda.
like 4 or 5 shots for this.
Yeah. Get crunk, motherfuckers!
All right, so where are we at with time here? So, oh, holy shit. So, all right, quick.
That's pretty good.
Real quick. So, we kind of alluded to it a little bit, but you sent me a video from Comic Tropes. I believe that's his name, right? He does Comic Tropes. And he talks about Watchmen and Doomsday Clock, and I texted you and was like, I feel dumb because I did not take any of that shit out of Doomsday Clock that he took. But there is one thing that he talked about that I wanna talk further about, and it is the idea that some comics have way too much backstory to be enjoyable to a new reader.
Oh, no, so this is an experiment that I wanted to toss upon you.
Okay,
'Cause,
so
like,
this is something you
so-
thought about too.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
Well, it comes from reading these team books and shit, and like how you're supposed to just sort of understand who all these people are, and they're not developed or whatever from from
X-Men's
yeah.
perfect example.
So I was just gonna toss you a random issue or a random trade of Seven Deadly Sins and see how you reacted
Okay.
to the characters and the
Okay.
story that was being told, and it's gonna fuck it up because there's gonna be a lot of spoilers. Some of the punches might not hit as hard because you'll have already seen characters
So
interacting and doing things that were important in the past that are now enemies or allies or dead or alive or
and
doing superpowers.
this is exactly what I'm talking about. So my question is can you connect with a character you know nothing about? And my personal feelings slash experiences as of late, I give zero fucks. But you should do that.
All right, I'm gonna try
And
to.
we should report back and maybe revisit this idea. Other than that, I'm gonna say comics tropes.
That was all. That was all you had from that
Yeah,
video.
no, let me tell you what else I feel about that video. I'm a fucking moron. I did not take any of the shit away that he took away from the Doomsday Clock. I maybe I don't put enough stock into like connecting everything. Like he very much felt like he needed to connect Watchmen and Doomsday Clock, and
Which was the whole center point conceit of the book.
oh, well then I guess I missed the point. Because to me, it was a way of explaining DC's multiverse. What was the other one? There's the multiverse, and then there's
The metaverse.
the metaverse. I thought it was that. You kind of talked about, you were like, well, it explains why Alan Moore is pissed. I get that. I knew Alan Moore was pissed off about it when they did, was it before The Watchmen?
Yep.
All those books. I had read
And the
articles
movie.
about that, and the movie, and the TV show, and all of that. The fact that that was supposed to be creator owned after a year, 2 years.
I didn't know that. It was a year.
Yeah, I knew that. That I had already heard and read about, and I knew he was pissed off about that. I know that's why Alan Moore got out of the mainstream. We'll call it the big two, but really he just worked for DC. I know that's why he got out of it, was because they fucked him over with that. I think it's extremely shady of DC to do that. What's up?
Which is yours?
This one.
Turn it up a bit.
Okay. I think it's extremely shady of DC to do what they did.
Oh yeah, for sure.
In that they just kept publishing newer and newer trades of the same thing over and over again just to hold the rights. That's fucked up in my book.
I get why they did it because it's a moneymaker, and that's basically what you would assume would happen with a comic is once you got the 12 issues out that you would make a trade, but on the caveat that it was supposed to go back to the actual creator.
But
that's shady as fuck.
Well, and here's the thing, they just kept releasing new versions of the trade with different covers just to fucking keep the rights to it.
That's bullshit.
Yeah. No, and it really is. And I honestly think that's another point. This is going to go back to the Liefeld thing. Like, he basically founded Image, correct?
Alan Moore?
No, Liefeld. He was like one of the two dudes. Was it Image or IDW?
I have no clue.
I'm pretty sure. Fuck.
I know he said that he had a lot going on. Or a lot of the good stuff was coming from Image and IDW. Because his thing wasn't that there aren't good comics. He's just saying that the good comics aren't in the major two.
Well, and let me say this: the opening paragraph, superstar comic book artist Rob Liefeld is never one to shy away from speaking his opinion. Like the time he predicted the doom of DC Comics, and the time he got internet slap fight over the entire generation of millennials over his thoughts of the X-Men relaunch. This article is very much pointing to that X-Men relaunch, which is why I kind of brought it up, which if you're an hour in now, you know why. We talked so much about X-Men with it.
But we never actually talked X-Men.
Yeah, vamp for me a little bit. I want to look up Rob Liefeld. I mean, he co-created the character Cable. Badass.
But Cable is such a twat in this new thing.
And Deadpool.
Such a twat. He hasn't done anything Cable-worthy. Young Cable.
Oh.
He dies at the end of 3.
And
disappears.
He left Marvel to found Image. Okay, so he is a founder of Image. Okay, so I think, like Alan Moore, Liefeld feels a lot of the same way about these big comic book publishers. And this is going to sound bad, but if I was the big two, or Image, or any of them, your goal is to make money, right?
Not tell good stories.
If you're not making money, you can't stay in business. So once some of these writers come out of obscurity because they write great stories, correct?
Yeah.
And the writer has no... I mean, they have a stake, but they're not the ones that have to answer at the end of the year whether you made or lost money.
To the shareholders.
Correct. And that's where I think, Image is, the creators own all this shit. And, okay, that's cool. I get that. But is Image making money? And I'm assuming they are because they're still in business.
They actually were cutting down the number of books they were distributing because they wanted their brand to be strong. And they didn't want to be just shelling out fluff products just to make that quick, easy buck if it's not actually something that there is an audience for and that the audience wants. Because that's a lot of the things that happen with the major two, is they just push out a shit ton of books and they hope that that there will be enough people who buy it that offsets
the cost.
The actual costs of creating it.
Because at the end of the day, these places are businesses.
And that's why the writing is so shoddy.
Well, and I would argue Image until they started paring shit down. I mean,
there is some
the creators own their shit. No, I'm not arguing the shit that we've both read. Image is great. I gave you Fear Agent. That's Image.
How many of those were Images?
Black Summer's not. That's Avatar. But like, what's DC?
Wildstorm.
Well, yeah, Wildstorm's DC. Yeah, Wildstorm's DC, but Wildstorm used to be in its.
Really.
It used to be its own imprint. Now they just re-released it because Ellis had a story. Like, at the end of the day, everything's a business. They need to make money. So while I respect Liefeld, I'm also, maybe because I'm almost losing my job, like, I respect the business for making a business decision. You know what I mean? Like,
but no, fuck the business, dude, because we are not the business. We are the consumer. We are the people that enable the business to keep going.
So here's my argument. You have all these people on the internet bitching about it. How did they get it to bitch about it?
How did those people get to bitch about it?
No. Not how do they get to bitch about it? How did they read? How did they read it? How did they read it to bitch about it?
How did the consumer? Well, because you need the business.
Whoa, no. Back up. Simple fact. Critics. What do they have to do to bitch about it? If you don't read it, you can't bitch about it. How did they read it? What did they have to do?
Somebody had to create a product worth actually reading.
No. Back up. Simple. Very simple. I'll give you the answer. Somebody had to buy it. They paid cash money for the book or the e-reader to buy it. Now, you sent me an article about pirating. I did not read it. Could they be pirates? Yes. I would like to think that Mr. Comic Tropes buys his shit to read about it because he wants to support the comic industry. I would like to think the guy who has the buy and sell pile on CBR, which, fuck that website. I would like to think he bought his comics to read about or was given them or whatever. Somebody had to buy it, give it, whatever. And Liefeld makes the point of vote with your dollars. Don't buy the shit and bitch about it.
Yeah,
if it's bad, stop buying it. But people don't stop buying it. I ask you.
So you just made my point without me actually having to say anything.
No, but I ask you. You're like, this is shit.
You ask me and then cut me off.
This is shit. I don't know why you read this. And I'm like, well, clearly someone's reading it because they're still putting it out, which means somebody's putting money into it. They wouldn't continue making a product that wasn't making money. Or they would and they're fucking morons. I don't know.
Because they're banking on the sheeple. There's actually this thing that happens. It's very basic in mobile games, right? You got your different tiers of people who play mobile games, and it's been brought into the mainstream of like AAA video games, and it's also going into comics, and it's also going into movies, but we'll get to how it fits into comics in a second. So, you got your mobile games, right? You're free to play mobile games.
Yep.
You can be a basic person.
Yep.
Who plays the mobile game, never buys shit.
And waits and fucking mines and does all this shit. I'm that guy.
But they have this cool currency that you can buy that gets you this shit faster.
Preach!
A good majority, 99% of the people will not ever buy anything to feed the system. There is, however, a 1%. And in that 1%, it is split into two groups. You've got the dolphins and you got the whales. The dolphins will spend money to actually help themselves in this game, thus giving back to the company that is producing it. But where these mobile games actually make their money is off the whales. The people who will spend thousands of dollars a day just to be better at a free game that's all clicking buttons. And so it goes into comics too. Why do you think that they have all those big variant covers? Because you and I will buy one book with the cover we like.
Or the cover we're given, or the cover that's available.
Yeah.
We don't give two fucks. First print, second print, third print.
We want the content inside.
We just want the story.
But there are people, like, there was Captain America, maybe, that had, how many states are there? 50 states?
Yep.
There was a run of, I don't know if it was Captain America.
No,
that had
it was what's the team up for Marvel?
Avengers.
Yes,
Yeah, they had a state flag for each.
every single state.
Yeah, and so all you need is
One.
a few hundred people who are heavily invested in owning every single cover.
And as avid listeners of Comics Conspiracy, we know about the whales because
Some of them,
as a comic store owner, what's his name?
Higgins.
He knows that he has a few whales that will buy all 50 fucking covers. Or, not as extreme, all 10 covers of House and Powers. Or Marvel. Marvel is a fucking... They are cashing in.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
insane.
repugnant. Honestly.
The new Guardians of the Galaxy #1.
Did you pick it up?
I pre-ordered. Well, I
Pre-ordered
ordered mine.
all 19 covers.
There's at least 10 covers. I
Oh,
guarantee
shit.
you. And some of them on Midtown are already $7,500.
Jesus.
So right there, you know. But there are people who are completionists who have the money, which good for them. If you're in a place in life where you can drop that kind of money, good for you. I wish. All I want is a story, so I got the original cover A because I thought that was the coolest. And Scotty Young didn't do any of the covers. Fuck you, Marvel.
Because he's busy doing his Marvel Harry Potter School of Magic.
I don't want to talk about that.
It could be so cool. That's one of those ones that
Dude,
I'm
the
gonna be happy.
preview was so fucking bad.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
So bad.
All you gotta do is you gotta get the Marvel app. Hashtag sponsor us, Marvel. And you can read all these comics for the low price of $6 a month. You just gotta wait 6 months.
No.
Dude, they've got over 75,000 comics that you can read.
I don't like reading digitally.
That's bullshit.
So much so, we're gonna talk Hellblazer at some point tonight. Come hell or high water, because I have good notes on this shit. And I am the Hellblazer fan of the century. I did not. I only because I lent you my number 2. I lent you my number 2. I did not even read number 2 digitally because I'm like, all right, I don't want to read it digital. I want my hard copy back. If you brought it back, I was gonna be like, all right, give me 15, 20 minutes. I need to read this quick.
True Toucan Rant fans will be able to go back to episode 3 where Jeremy was saying exactly how much he enjoyed reading digitally because he could eat and read comics at the same time without having to worry about grease getting on the paper.
Yeah. Yeah. I knew you were going to bring that up.
Yeah, man, no. You just gotta get... Because you gotta, like, alright, fuck Marvel. I'm just saying, it's a good app. You can read a bunch of shit.
It is.
You could get all your Doctor Strange.
All I'm saying is you need to get like a fucking iPad. Something like not even the iPad mini. You need the full size fucking iPad to read that shit to make it worth your while.
Yeah. But there is a lot of... No, it's nice because you get to read all this drivel for a very cheap
free
price.
Yeah,
It's not
nothing.
free.
Well,
but
next to nothing. You're reading it for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
And here's my thing. Stop making dribble!
Which is what Liefeld was saying. And it was the same thing as the comic stroke dude was saying.
See, but
he said somewhere in there, he's just like, we want good stories. And that's the same thing with Comicsgate's people.
That's where I'm like, you need a good writer. And you know what? I'm going to say some controversial shit right here. And people ain't going to like it.
You'll love it if you're fans.
Tinian? He's not on my Mount Rushmore.
Wait, why are you saying Mount Rushmore?
Because I have a Mount Rushmore of writers. You don't have a Mount Rushmore of writers? How many? I don't even know how many faces are on Mount Rushmore.
6.
Okay. 6? I don't even think I could fill it up right now.
There's only 4.
Okay, so 4. I don't even know if I could fill that up.
You don't have 4 writers that you like?
I'm gonna say Alan Moore.
Okay.
He's up there.
That's 1.
That's 1. Warren Ellis. He's up there.
Okay.
He's on my top 4. Gaiman.
Yeah.
I don't think I could pick a 4th. Because I'm going to tell you right now, Snyder, he's good. He ain't Mount Rushmore.
Mushmore? Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck Mushmores.
Yep. He ain't Mount Rushmore. King? He ain't Mount Rushmore.
Nah.
Nah.
His Batman run was meh. It didn't work.
Tinian? He's good.
Yeah.
He almost gets the Mushmore. He's maybe like the viewing platform of Mushmore. You know, where you can like, I've never been there, but you can look up with the telescopes. I've seen pictures. You can look up the telescopes. He's maybe the Alamo.
Nah, he's the Indian dude off to the side.
I wouldn't even give him that.
Oh,
I won't
that's
even
harsh.
give him.
Oh.
It is. I cannot pick a 4th. Maybe Miller. I do like Miller. Millar, however you want to say it. I do like Mark Millar. But like Gaiman, Sandman, awesome. Novels, awesome. Ellis, fight me on that, trolls, but like I love Ellis. Like his sci-fi is like nobody else does sci-fi. Bendis, you could argue Bendis is on a Rushmore, right? He's done a lot of shit.
Oh no, it's your own personal.
Fuck Bendis. And I love Guardians of the Galaxy, and he did a great thing for Guardians. He ain't on Mushmore.
I got my 4. It's super easy. Nighthow, Kubo, Mignola, Gaiman.
Oh, Mignola. Yeah. All right, there's my 4th. I'll throw Mignola up there. I'll stand behind you on that.
Yeah.
And there is a man who is few words.
This is why we need to get cameras. Because just the intensity of that
Oh,
point.
yeah. Oh, no. Yeah, no, I love Mignola. Even Mignola's Swamp Thing is fucking amazing.
He just did the pencils for that, though.
Amazing.
And Gaiman wrote it.
Amazing. They should team up again.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I wonder how
It
much...
did not look like Hellboy. When I fucking bought it, I was like, this guy needs to look like Hellboy, but it didn't. But like,
I just wanted
it's
his art
good.
style.
It's good, but it's good. It's not bad.
I might have to reread it again. I was just super disappointed when I read it. It's like...
Yeah, I mean, it ain't Gaiman on his A game, but it's Gaiman. Like...
You even told me that when you got it. You're like, ooh, you're probably going to be disappointed. And yes. There was much disappointment to be had.
I mean, I think we all thought about Swamp Thing running around as a Hellboy character. Like, Hellboy.
Well, no, just that style.
Yes, that's what I mean. Hellboy-esque style. And it's not him. But, like, Hellboy, oh my god. That's amazing. Dark Horse fucking doing amazing shit.
Yeah. Well, Dark Horse has always been
selective
good.
too. Yeah. I mean, you want to go back to the beginning. Dark Horse was my shit. Dark Horse had the Star Wars motherfuckers. Star Wars Tales, Star Wars Rogue Squadron, fucking Star Wars.
You know where else you can get that?
On the Marvel app.
Alright. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not opposed to the Marvel app. I want a book. Oh
no, I feel you on that. And that's why, so,
That's why I still buy floppies, because, like, I love just, like, you guys can't see this, but I'm like just like opening the book and I'm just like holding it and I'm like turning the pages and like this one's shiny pages. I
Just
don't
the
like that.
tactile
I don't
feel.
like that. But like the Hellblazer when it first gets the Hellblazer #1, not the Sandman Universe presents Hellblazer, but the Sandman. They got
And you
that
can just see Jeremy groping
They got that
John
matte,
Constantine's
that
face,
matte finish
caressing
on
it.
the pages. It's not even shiny. I fucking love that matte finish. I fucking love it. Oh my god.
All right, quick beer break, and then we'll talk Constantine.
Hellblazer.
I'm going with the New 52 thing all day, every day.
Okay, so
all right, no. Okay, so we're back, and we are going to be talking about John Constantine. We're going to be talking about Hellblazer. I was expecting to get punched in the face or stabbed in the heart. One of the two
we
with
can
the
talk
bottle.
about John Constantine.
All
Well, I
right.
don't know what you said before. What did you say before? I was like, it's Hellblazer.
Yeah, no, because I just always constantly call it Constantine. And
Well, yeah, because you want to talk. You think of New 52, which I equated to.
which is what I started with.
Okay, let's do a little backstory.
Hold on.
Okay.
No backstories. No
All right.
backstories are needed. We're gonna jump right into this. So I was blown away by the actual Hellblazer #1, not the presents or whatever, cause it was dark as fuck compared to what I had been reading. Like, just the context of what they had going on. Like, crazy-ass demons in the park eating people.
The horror specs.
Yeah. That whatever dude with the tattoos and shit. I didn't know what his name was.
Yep.
But he's pretty much like, yeah, we're gonna kidnap you and kill you, Constantine, if you don't help us out with this entire thing. Like, it's dark. He's cutting up like animals and stuff.
Okay.
And then you're trying to tell me that there's darker shit than this?
Okay. So all right. So
This is tame.
top two comics of my life. Swamp Thing, #1. #2 is John Constantine Hellblazer, and the only reason I got introduced to John Constantine was through Swamp Thing. I'm not going to explain it any further than that. If you don't know, go read Alan Moore. You fucking get up on that shit. Alan Moore Swamp Thing. All right. I'm telling you, like, there are, I want to say 300 some issues, maybe 300 exactly, of Hellblazer. I am on volume 21 of the trade paperbacks, and just to fucking give you a glimpse, there is a evil, let's call him a demon, that literally cracks open the skull of a shaman. Oh, I'm sorry. Cuts his head off, cracks open his skull, and eats his brain. And very, very graphic detail. Let me tell you something, guys. Folks, women, children of all ages.
No children. Fuck you, children. Get off this channel.
You see it all. Vertigo years ago is not the Vertigo of the 2000s when they rebooted it or whatever they did. It is not even Black Label level. This shit is, and I've read a lot of Black Label. I've read pretty much all the Black Label.
Okay, yeah. You're at 21 volumes.
Well, I
many
mean,
volumes you have?
no. I mean, like the new DC Vertigo Black Label. Like I followed that, right? I mean, I was all pumped about it. You remember me fucking talking about this shit? Like I'm gonna fucking buy all this shit. It is fucking kindergarten compared to some of the shit they put out years ago. Andy Diggle is a fucked up motherfucker. I've said that to you, off mic, on mic. It's fucked up. So
you're okay with tame Hellblazer just because it's got Constantine in it?
Well, I wanna. can we talk about the new shit?
Yeah, that was what
Okay.
my entire segue was to get in.
Okay, so
into this.
let's talk about. I got some
You've
notes
got
here.
like
I
a
got
shit
some
ton
notes
of
here.
notes over there, mate. What are you doing?
Oh my god, I love it so much. Okay, so like
You even got like the top thing presents
Yep,
Hellblazer in
yep.
bold and
number
all the
one-
points.
number one. The first reintroduction is the Sandman universe presents Hellblazer.
It's
Okay,
a kind of sketchy cover.
what? I love the cover. This is cover B, by the way. Maybe the main cover. Maybe the what do you call it? The main A cover.
A cover, yeah, the main cover.
Maybe it's better. I don't know. I like this one. This is the one I picked. You got
Oh, then
him smoking a cigarette. You got Tim Hunter on both sides, right?
what?
That's Tim Hunter.
Oh, Jesus.
You didn't pick up on that?
I guess I didn't look at it.
Oh shit, dude! You are in for a trip then with my notes. Okay, so like it starts.
Well, no, isn't Tim Hunter in this one?
Yeah, he is.
Oh, okay. Carry on. I won't interrupt.
Holy shit, dude!
I thought the
So he
presents
begins-
was
He
different than
no.
the other one.
He begins describing the things going on around him and how fucked up they are. And he talks about the madness of magic, which is kind of a theme throughout this book, right? He's got the madness of magic. He's talking about fucking goblins jerking off on cars, and you have this splash page, which is fucking amazing. If you love Constantine, Hellblazer, right? Okay. So we're going. And it turns out that there is a war of magic going on. And you don't really know what's going on in the beginning, but Constantine has a pig's head, right? And Chaz, and if you don't know Hellblazer, it's his best buddy, which this kind of harkens back to the if you don't have any background on the character, should you really be reading this book?
No, in this book they did a decent job of actually showing through actions and through speech that they were
Best
were
buddies,
friends, yeah.
right? So like him and Chaz are best buddies, and he basically puts all these runes on this pig's head and sends Chaz out essentially to his doom. Like I knew it was coming, but he gives him this pig head,
100%
pig's
to his
head,
doom.
and he drives into this war of magic because Constantine knows that is what's gonna save him. And
you know how much of a cunt John Constantine is? Is he does this knowing full well that his best friend will believe him 100% that the actions that he is doing is going to avert this entire catastrophe, whilst John also knows that he is sending him on a wild goose chase that is not going to actually end the war as he has just told his friend it's going to.
Not necessarily that. He averts the war, so to speak. But
the dude's not a hero.
If you know John at all,
He's a cunt. Not the Australian version.
he befriends people. He becomes very close with people, and then sacrifices them for what he says is the greater good of the population.
What's good for him?
And we will. This will come back around as we go through this, but like, it's sacrificing one to save the world. And it's kind of this morality thing. Like, do you kill one person to save 5,000?
But he's not ever... He's more or less just trying to save himself. Every single situation.
Exactly. And that's what's the fucked up situation, which we will encounter further on. The funniest part is Chaz is a taxi driver. And he sends him in, and this fucking thing just blows up like, ah! And he dies. What you think he dies. And John's sitting there, and he gets stabbed with something, and he's like, huh? bugger, and he pulls out the taxi cab sign from his side. I fucking burst out laughing.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, Chaz drives the taxi cab into the middle of the war to save things. And he wants to. He's like, John, I'm going to fucking do this to you. You and I are best buds. You think this is going to save things. What John fails to mention is you're going to die.
yeah, because he's a grade A cunt.
And he gets stabbed in the side with this taxi cab sign, which is fucking hilarious. He sends Chaz basically to hell. Like, that's what it is. And it's funny, he gets stabbed in the side. We have some different shit where he meets some ghosts after that happens. He has an interaction with Tim Hunter. Hellblazer, he meets some ghosts from the past. He gets pissed off. He fucking talks to Tim Hunter, which is interesting because he talks to a young Tim Hunter, but the magic war is actually the future Tim Hunter, which is interesting in that now we're talking about alternate realities. Now I don't want to call it the multiverse because they don't really talk about that, but they talk about the future.
No,
This is future Tim Hunter.
Can I jump in and shit?
Sure.
Isn't that the entire crux of this entire issue? Is Constantine is trying to figure out like why he has died and come back and has all these memories and why this fucking CGI nonsense magic shit is happening. How is that not fitting into rebirths, reboots, continuity shit?
It is, but I don't want to accept that. I want to think that it's Hellblazer at his best because
this issue is Hellblazer at his best.
No. But like, I'm hoping it comes back as like strong Hellblazer, like cool Hellblazer. I don't know what to say. Like, I'm kind of worried.
No,
they're
carry on with your your juice. Well, give it the juice. Give it the juice.
I'm worried they're gonna fucking try to fucking fit it into the metaverse, multiverse, fucking bullshit.
No, the what I took from this is that he's like, yeah, there's like this whole thing, but I'm just gonna carry on being me. You got This is the one with the Porky Constantine at the end.
Okay, we'll get there.
Okay. Because that fits into my concept of how this...
The porcupine hat. Okay, so he meets Tim Hunter. He has an interaction, talks about alternate realities, and like, hey, this is what you become. And then when you go into Books of Magic, you realize like they're trying to avert this magic war. Okay?
I'll have questions about that later.
And then he meets what you find out is his future self. Right?
Did you know that straight away when you were reading it? That was him?
No. I had a feeling, and then once, because John's quick, he's very...
Witty.
Huh?
Witty?
Yes, that's what I was going to say. I didn't know if witty was quite the way to put it, but he talks to what the dude says is his future self, but he's like, whoa, you're happy, you're peppy. No, that ain't me. Based on what I know about my life, that ain't me. And he does the trick of he's smoking a cigarette and he burns himself, and future me is like, ah! So he knows.
Is it that crazy in there?
He says, oh, fuck.
Oh. That's a little toned down from what your rendition of it was.
Well, I mean, he's trying to find out if it's him. Because dude says, hey, it's me, your future self. And he's like, you're way too happy and peppy. Like, it pisses him off, right?
Should it piss you off, though?
And he burns himself with a cigarette, right? And they have a little bit of conversation. And basically what it comes down to is Constantine's dying. He's losing blood because of the taxi cab sign that stabbed him in the side. He's losing blood. And his future self's like, I can save you, but I want your soul when you die. Now, if you've been at all in Hellblazer, Constantine sells his soul 20 times over. Like, dude has demon blood in him.
Not anymore, no.
Yeah, even though Justice League Dark kind of fucked that up. But there's things like Constantine sold his soul to like different people, and like basically when he dies, there's probably gonna be like 15 dudes showing up being like, "Hey, I got a soul too. Fuck you, I got a soul first."
Well, no, that was
like that's what it's gonna be. That is the fucking. I'm waiting for that moment, but it never comes.
Didn't he have that though? When he went to the 3 demons,
Yeah.
because he had sold a portion of his soul to each one of them, and they were all vying for control of it, and he tricked them somehow and was able to get out of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So how long
He's
is that?
a witty motherfucker.
So like, how long is that gimmick okay to work? Like, how long can you have one character continuously trading away the most valuable aspect of themselves as the major pinnacle point of the story, and then have it not actually mean anything? Does that mean that the character himself has no? I'm just asking. I'm not like critiquing him. I'm just asking in general.
So let me ask you this: what is Batman?
Is a mantle.
Core self. What are the fundamentals of Batman? What is the thing that sticks true with Batman every time?
Always do better.
His parents die in an alley. They get shot in front of him. He gets raised by Alfred.
Not always true, but
he vows that he will
ensure that no other child has to go through the same trauma that he has.
So one of the things that's Constantine
will always sell his soul.
He will always.
But there's a
sell
difference.
out. No, he will always. It's not the soul. He will always sell out.
How can you?
All his other people to save himself.
How can you be a punk rock aficionado and be your number one? Your number one hero is a sellout every single day.
I think Real Big Fish said it best. Sell out with me. Oh yeah, sell out
with me tonight. Sell out.
The record company's gonna give me lots of money, and
everything's gonna be all right. Da-na-na. Da-na-na-na-na-na. So you're Real Big Fish in it, huh?
I love Hellblazer. They're rebooting his ass for the fucking. Here's the funny thing, and I'll say this across comics across the board. You do 250, 300 issues, never have to reboot it. Reboot for New 52. Reboot for Rebirth. Reboot for Sandman Universe. Like, in the past, like, I don't know, and that's the Comic Tropes guy. Do you need to reboot the shit?
Well, no, you'll be happy. They're bringing back Wonder Woman is going to be 750, carrying on forever. Flash is going to be 750, forever carrying on.
Kind of like him.
They're going to be doing a couple other
Detective
heroes.
Stayed on.
Yeah, well, no, technically not.
Here's all I'm saying.
New 52 came. Detective went back to 1. After New 52, it reverted back to the original numbers.
I don't care about the original numbers. Just advertise it. Be better at advertising, you'll be fine. All right. Back to my buddy.
We'll have to talk about that at some point.
Back to my buddy Hellblazer.
How to advertise better.
He makes a deal. giving his soul to self when he dies. Then he wakes up in where else? Ravenscar.
Is that important? Ravenscar? I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, is that where the little girl died? Where he fucked up the first time?
It's
Quote
the,
unquote first time.
No, it's
The
the
canon.
insane. It's the insane asylum he always goes to.
Oh, what's
He's been committed there numerous times. Okay.
is there a?
And-
Can I interject or?
Sure.
Is there some plotline thread that brings him back to Ravensclaw? Some past trauma that had occurred to there, or is it just like
He
just his focal
goes.
point?
No, he goes nuts at some point in Hellblazer, and he ends up in Ravenscar.
Oh, Ravenscar.
Yep. It is what it is. He's gone there numerous times. He wakes up. He realizes he's in Ravenscar. He's like, this is interesting. He thinks everything previous that we've talked about, him waking up to this magic war, him having this interaction with Tim Hunter, him selling his soul to him, his future self, is a dream, but he looks at his hand and he realizes he has that cigarette burn.
Because he already sold himself.
Well, it happened, right? So he is like, yep,
It happened, and he ended up
Yup.
in Ravenscar because
Yup.
he...
I'm good. And the funny thing is like, there's this weird, he's gonna get out. That's his goal, right? He's good. He knows what's up. He goes out, he gets out. The fucking interaction with the psychologist, I'll call him.
Psychiatrist, yeah.
Yeah, the psychiatrist. Question regarding patient's history of dementia, and he gives like it's just these stock answers, like explains it. It's funny. There's word balloons, but then there's like this narration box inside the word balloon. I thought it very funny because it's a sense of magic. It's also this laying down the foundation of Constantine can talk his way out of any situation. It's very much a theme of Constantine in general. I mean, he's talked his way out of things with demons. You brought up the 3 demons, him selling them each. He sold his soul to each. They end up fighting. He ends up fucking getting away scot-free. Right? So, like, Constantine, he's a tricky motherfucker.
No, see, that's one of the most beautiful things that comics can do. Because there are multiple, like you were saying, there are multiple layers that are going on. And you're able to interpret them just by looking at them. And the very simplistic versions of the characters interacting, like minute changes in them, is actually speaking tenfold to what is actually going on. And it's only in that one page, that's like a 10-minute page, maybe, right?
2 pages, yeah.
Well, no, like 10 minutes are occurring in
Yep.
that one page.
Yeah, I'll give it a half hour.
Okay, half hour. But it's all condensed into... How long does it take you to read it?
2
Nah,
minutes.
2 minutes.
2-3 minutes.
But so much has happened in that one page to propel not only the character but the story
Well,
in 7 panels.
yeah. And he basically talks his way out of the insane asylum.
No, it was everything that you had said.
My favorite thing. Question about the patient's plans in the hypothetical event of his release. Answer list. That's the psychiatrist, Constantine. Answer listing the serene pleasures of society for which the patient longs, counting from downwards from 10. Which him counting downwards from 10 comes up later in the issue, which is funny. And then he restates downwards from 10, indistinct question about yogurt, and Constantine finally, in a word balloon, I'm sane, I'm safe, I should definitely be discharged, don't you think? Psychiatrist, ... Well, of course you should. Of course you should. And Constantine leaves Ravenscar.
But no, see,
But this is something that's he's been committed numerous times to Ravenscar over the fucking 21 volumes of trades, and he always talks his way out of it. It's new for the new readers, but it's fun for the old readers. But like other comics, and I'm going to say Doomsday Clock, there's holes. So if you don't know a lot about Hellblazer, not all of this makes sense. Like Chaz, you said you could get enough from it, but you also have background, right? You have a little bit of background. You've seen the movie. I believe you've watched the TV show, right?
I've read some of the comics already.
I've given you some of the trades. So like Chaz is a thing, but like it doesn't really...
No, so like even as being somebody who has read it already, being able to understand it from a perspective that yes, this character is being introduced, you just met him, but you also already understand that Constantine and Chaz are friends. That has been conveyed in this issue number 1 just by their interaction and by the sorrow that Constantine has about sending his friend on this suicide errand.
Oh.
But back with that one page that you so eloquently relayed all the past history that the series has that maybe new readers don't know, but like you do know, like, so it goes on multiple levels, because just by the virtue of how the panel is laid out, you've got the squares over the basic dialogue boxes, so you know already from those dialogue boxes that that's not actually what's being talked about. It's the narrator, Constantine, explaining what's going on in those things. And all of that is done in 7 panels. Like, there's a shit ton of story that happens in a single fucking page. And this is 22 pages, but they relayed...
No, this is more than 22. This is like a maxi size thing. Like, this is a pretty big book.
Yeah, but they
this
relayed...
One's bigger than the original.
Okay,
or
but...
than the normal. But, okay, go on.
They relayed so much history and propelled the story so much for new readers and old readers in one fucking page.
And I would just like to say this was written by Simon Spurrier, which a lot of people, and not just Comics Conspiracy, hated on, but like I've read articles.
Who? What are the gripes?
I mean, CBR's complained about some of the shit he's written.
All right, so not
Hellblazer specifically.
Right, but so like...
But I'm just saying, like, Cy Spurrier, like, people don't like him, and I gotta say, I think he did a pretty good job with Hellblazer, and I believe he's doing Dreaming too, right?
Yeah.
I've enjoyed Dreaming. I know you dropped out, but like I've enjoyed it.
I want to know what these articles are saying where they are dissing him, because my only qualms with him is some of his writing dialogue got a little bit clunky because he kept using ellipses and stutters to display every single emotion on the spectrum.
I get that. He has not done that in here.
No, in the 3 issues of Hellblazer I've read, no. But you're saying there are other articles.
Yeah,
I want to know what these gripes are.
I think it's for some of his other works.
Oh, I needed X-Force, and that was fantastic.
It was a hot mess that I enjoyed.
That is on my Mount Mushmore of top comics ever.
I like that you like this. my note, let me read it to you. Wakes up in insane asylum with burn on hand, everything very real, talks way out of asylum. That
One
page we're
page.
talking about, very funny. Because he's...
You didn't think I'd find it funny?
Well, no, for me, it's funny because he's done this numerous times, but, like, this is a whole new way. Like, just the narration of it, like, the top panel, the psychiatrist in a word balloon, now then, and then Constantine narrating this. And you almost, because of who Constantine is, you almost have to question, is that how it really went?
No, that's what that last panel is.
And it's funny.
Nondescript question about yogurt.
It's...
And then you see, and then after you get to that point and you look back up, you wonder what the fuck he was actually saying to
and
the psychiatrist.
yeah, and
psychologist.
that's why I found it so fucking funny. Because, again, he's been here so many times, and, like, for the new reader, this is good information. But for the old reader, like, it works on a couple different levels, and I personally thought it was pretty fucking cool.
No,
Like,
I concur, yeah.
yeah. So he gets out. He basically hitches a ride back to his home base, his home city, his love, London. Or, according to the border, or to the highway sign, Londistan. So, Londistan. So things have changed a little bit in London. And one of the things...
You gotta fucking just get that to, like, not screen lock off or
Yeah,
something.
that's okay. That's okay. Sorry. So...
It's very distracting.
The bottom... Oh, okay, you know what? You're getting off on tangents. So he
'Cause
goes.
you don't
He goes
ever.
to. That's true. He goes to London. He kind of relives some of his shit with Tim Hunter. The big thing that I got is I'm gonna read it because I really liked it. This game, it's not about neat and tidy. Owes more to story and meaning than cause and effect. You'd go mad, madder, trying to decide what counts and what doesn't, what's real and what's not. When the only question worth asking is, what matters right now?
No, that's a beautiful commentary on the entire comics kind of thing, and just storytelling in general that is going on right now.
And
Is that the vibe you got too?
That is why I picked it. In that, with my takeaway was, in the previous pages, and especially with the Tim Hunter interaction in the future self, you have all these multiverses, metaverses, all this fucking bullshit. But what matters is happening right now.
No, I'm glad you brought that up, because when I first read that, that's a lot of the shit that I was thinking too. Especially since Doomsday Clock was coming out.
Exactly.
And all that.
Exactly. Like this. Let's put a little reference to this. This came out before Doomsday Clock number 12, but after number 11. So we were kind of in this in between phase, like. That's the way I'll describe it, because I don't have any words. Like, we were all like...
Pissing ourselves in anticipation.
Exactly. I might piss my pants right now. I love... Like, I even made a note. The bottom of the page. This... And it's 2 panels, and one of which is literally black.
You love your black panels.
I do love my black panels. But the last very small panel, what matters right now. And I think that is a commentary on comics today. I reread this after the Liefeld article, very recently after the Liefeld article.
Just that page or the whole thing?
No, the whole thing.
Okay.
And really, it spoke to me because there's reboots, there's redos, there's reimaginings, but what really matters is right now.
But do you think that's just a thing that happens with Constantine in general? Because from what you had been laying out for me with his run being 300 issues or whatever, was that at the end of a writer's arc, Constantine would die.
Nope.
And then the new writer would pick up and
Nope.
go.
Nope.
So, no, that's... I have faulty memory. That's cool.
He
I
doesn't,
like that.
No, I don't think he dies. I think my memory, no, he doesn't die. He picks up, he keeps going. There is a time where he kind of goes on a quote-unquote magic hiatus, but he's following someone he thinks he really loves, which is interesting.
But like every time there is a new writer that comes on to the story, what is the breaking point in between them? Or it's just seamlessly woven into the next writer?
Here's what I think I love about Hellblazer, and maybe it's just the time period of comics. They just pick up. They tell a new story. All of a sudden Hellblazer, all of a sudden John's in America, or he's flying to America, or he's in London doing this, or he's doing that. Like, there's no... At the end of a writer's run, they don't kill him. They don't, like... They might kill his friends or different things like that. Like, Chaz has...
How many times has Chaz died?
I don't think he's died.
Except for here? In this alternate fake reality?
Don't quote me on that, but, like, I'm pretty sure, like, he's gone into some shit and John saved him. But I don't think he's actually died. You're kind of spoiling my future talking points, but it's okay.
Well, that's why I'm here.
No.
That's why I'm here. That's what you said.
It's cool. It's cool.
But so
like,
you enjoy the status quo of the Constantine universe.
No, I enjoy the fact that Constantine... Okay, so let's put it this way. I'm pretty sure he quote-unquote dies at the end of the Rebirth thing. I don't remember.
Well, Rebirth doesn't really factor. It doesn't factor into the conversation we're having about the issue 1 through issue 300 run that he had.
No, okay.
And switching
I know I
writers.
looked at the end and I don't remember what I told you, but like he dies but doesn't die type thing.
I'm pretty sure you said he died at the end.
Okay.
And I thought his dying was a constant thing within the
So
runs.
at the end of 300. But like I'm telling you 1 through 21, he hasn't died yet.
Okay. But there have been different writers.
Different writers.
And they just jump in.
Well, they pick up the thing that's cool, I feel, about Constantine, and maybe this is something that isn't true, is like one writer's done, they finish it, he rides off into the sunset, he is troubled by this or that, the next writer picks it up, and they just keep going. Oh, sorry, burps there.
But like every writer finishes their run on a conclusion to said problem that they had created.
Here's the thing
They
about
don't leave
Constantine. Here's the thing about
cliffhangers.
Constantine. I'll tell you, I've not read single issues, but like the arcs, like, all right, because this is the most recent in my mind. I talked about the guy cutting off dude's head.
Which sounds fucking fantastic.
That's a 4 or 5 issue arc. 4 issues, I think. And the story ends, and Hellblazer lives. He solves the problem. He doesn't kill anybody this time or sacrifice anybody. But then the next issue picks up, and it's a new. I almost like picture it as like. Have you ever watched any of those like shows where they go into like haunted houses and they like go into one haunted house and they do their thing, and then the episode ends and that's the end of that haunted house and they go into the next one and it's a whole new haunting. It's kind of like that, like, but we're talking about issues like Constantine, and maybe this is an aspect of his character that makes him good for this, but like he constantly gets out of these like very precarious situations. Some of them aren't as precarious as others, but like he basically tricks, in the most recent one, he basically tricks the dude hunting him into killing a different dude, but he doesn't kill him.
This is volume 21?
Yeah.
Okay.
Constantine thinks is resolved, but I think it's going to come back around and bite him in the ass. The succubus thing.
That's what I was hoping you would just jump into.
Yeah.
That's where we
I
had
mean,
been.
it's like a 4-issue
It
mini.
just took
It's
an
like
hour to get there, but
it's like a series of mini stories. Like, that is the cool thing about Constantine, is like he can go into this supernatural thing and like address the issue, and then he lives and he goes on to the next thing. And he always lives because, like you said, he's a cunt and he fucking only looks out for himself, right?
right.
Right.
Stand by that 100%.
Yeah. And
So he's more of like an anthology character, where you got this base character and you plop him in a situation and you tell the story, and then that story ends, and then you go to the next story and you tell that one with that same character, but he doesn't necessarily have growth, but he has the option to remember certain aspects of stories insofar as it progresses the current story that is being told.
but I would argue he does have growth in that over time he realizes, like, there's times where he's like, I don't want to have any friends because of all the friends I've killed.
That's every story I've read by him. And yet he continuously tries to get new friends. I don't know if it's this one where he goes back and he talks to the bouncer chick who's smoking, and she's like, I'm not gonna fuck you. But
Yep. But that is Constantine's flaw. Right? So, like, you know what? You want? I'll fucking load up a box. You can take 1 through 20.
I can't do that, man.
Because
Dude, it's the same thing with One Punch. You're like, you gotta wean me.
okay,
on
well,
this.
and I can give you some, but like, there's times where he's like, he realizes what he's doing to people, and I'm gonna call it turtling. He just like shuts himself down, and he wants to like pull himself away, but the thing about, and that's, it wouldn't be a story if it didn't happen, trouble always finds him. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but the thing is, well, when we were talking about stories, we want like a consistent arc, a character going through trials and tribulations and overcoming them and growing and becoming a completely different character that you can still see at the end. Is Constantine actually learning from his things and becoming a better person, or is it just a trope that he always has to abuse people and realize he's abusing people and feeling bad about it and then trying to overcome it and then overcoming it, but then realizing that he's just using people again, and it's just a continuously perpetuating wheel that is the character, which
I would argue it's a perpetual thing. But at the same time, he's growing.
I would be very interested to see what your take is on Constantine. I know you don't like television and all that shit, but to see your reaction to Constantine in the TV series, which
I've watched it.
I haven't watched that, but like
I've watched it.
more so the Legends of Tomorrow, because that's actually a situation in which personifies the character's main foible, where he has to sacrifice, potentially. I don't know what's going on currently in League of Legends, but he's all, I don't want friends because I always fuck up my friends. I always sacrifice them. And now he's in a situation where he's got a lot of powerful friends and he's got a motive to sacrifice them because he wants to save his
That happens
lover.
pretty regularly in Constantine.
Yeah, but now he's a queer.
Okay, that doesn't matter. Okay. So,
Oh, it doesn't? Cool.
Well, it doesn't matter to me.
It could. I don't know.
What do you mean it could? I don't care who he fucks. I mean, I do like the fucking hot ass women that they draw in here, but
Well, no, because any fictional character that you have created some affiliation with becomes an avatar for who you perceive yourself as, is the argument. That's the reason people get so bent out of shape when characters no longer fit into a certain continuity that they have built up and perceived in their mind, because they project themselves through and on this character, and that allows them to be better.
okay, but like,
So if your model,
is it bad that I say like his sexual influence like doesn't affect his other traits? Like I can separate that?
no, it's not bad.
Well, I'm just saying like whether he fucks a male or female, I don't care. The fact that he's a womanizer or a manonizer, I guess,
Is that a word? Manonizer?
I don't know. Like
We just coined it here.
I don't know. Like I'm just saying like he very much is sexually stimulated, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's that. That
He
was
just
cool.
lost power for a
Oh,
millisecond.
who gives a fuck? There's that. There's his trickiness, like his deceptiveness, his like that is very much apart from his sexuality. Like his sexuality, in my opinion, is a very small aspect. Like you fuck women, okay. You fuck men, okay. You're fucking over your friends to gain power or stature or is more important than who you're fucking in your bed every night. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No.
Like I don't get it. Like you've brought it up and like the internet's brought it up where I'm just like, why are we pissed? Like, okay, so Constantine's fucking dudes. Does that change the fact that he does magic and like
That he's
deals
fucking
with
everyone
demons
he knows.
and he fucks everybody over and that he fucking is tricky as all hell and he can fucking outwit even the trickiest of demons? To me, that seems more important than if he's fucking a dude in the ass or he's fucking a chick in the pussy or in the ass if that's what he chooses to do. Like, I'm just saying,
What
like,
if he's getting fucked in the ass?
There's okay, whatever. Like, does it matter?
It depends on where you fall on the
Okay,
the
does he
whole-
get fucked in the ass or does he get a blowjob? Like, okay, let's talk about that. Like, that's something that happens to him as opposed to him doing something to them. Does it matter to you?
Well, because he is a self-gratifier.
To me, Okay, self-gratifying. Okay, I want it in the ass or I wanted my dick sucked. Self-gratification.
All right,
I'm gonna fuck
you
you.
got me there.
I'm gonna fuck you or you're gonna fuck me. Like I
But
just
there's a
don't get
level
it.
of like submission.
To me, that is more homophobia than it is a legit criticism of the character.
Interesting.
Now, I would argue that they're trying to attract a different audience, which again, we go back to the business aspect. Yeah. Makes sense. Right?
If
I mean,
people continue to buy it, yeah, it makes sense.
yeah,
But if you've
maybe
got
they got more gay viewers because of it. I have no problem with that.
and
But again,
you're a diehard Constantine fan, Hellblazer fan.
yeah, but again, what does it matter? If he's fucking a dude in the ass, getting fucked in the ass, getting a blowjob, fucking a chick in the ass, fucking a chick in the pussy, what does it matter?
I was saying from the context of you projecting yourself onto this character.
To me,
Because you probably would not want to get sucked off, nor get fucked by, nor fuck a dude.
No, I'm good with that.
And there are some people who view these characters as a correlating aspect of their persona.
And I would argue that if you're focused on the sexuality of a character, you have a problem. You're homophobic, or if you're gay and you hate, is it straightophobic? I don't know what you call it.
That's not actually a thing though.
Okay, but I'm just saying, like, to me,
no, people would get pissed off if you changed a lesbian or gay character to being straight.
Why?
Because that's not their persona. Like, you can't take...
I don't get... Okay, so call me prehistoric or a dinosaur. I don't get why a person's sexuality means so much in a story comic book. Like, I guess, yeah, it could be.
No, it's a huge thing, dude. You know how there were so many people who wanted Poe and Finn to be a couple in Star Wars? And so Disney was like, yeah, we're going to have our first lesbian kiss in a movie. And they decided to choose, like, background characters that we did not know their names or who they were or what significance they played in the rebellion, quote unquote, in the background and the victory thing. But then when we went to different countries, we just, like, cut out that whole scene because it didn't matter. And Batwoman right now, she's a lesbian. She's always been in the comics. And if you were to take that away from her, like, you negate her power as a status symbol.
I don't get it.
No, that's fine. So I was just curious how you felt about your potentially male icon.
He's not. Is that my problem? I don't hold these as like an icon. Like I don't get it.
Now we maybe stepped away from the point that you were trying to make. It was
no, like, I think you have a really good point. I just don't get it. 'Cause, like, me as a person, I'm not hung up on that. I don't care.
Oh.
He could be gay as fuck trying to fuck Chaz in the ass. I kid you not. And I just held up the comic book. He could be trying to fuck Chaz in the ass, and I'd be like, All right, but is he gonna do some magic and
But he's gonna
fuck
actually,
over some demons?
Is he gonna actually fuck over Chaz? Like, he can fuck him, but he's
Well,
gonna fuck him over.
Well, yeah, like I guess like the section, like Constantine is so much more than that. Does it even matter at this point? Like, I guess I get it to an extent of like,
Would you be okay with a black Constantine or an Asian Constantine?
I'd be interested.
But would it
Does it
still
matter?
be Constantine though?
Does it matter?
But so, like, if Bugs Bunny was a squirrel,
Well, hold on. Back up. Is Black Constantine still the same Constantine? He just maybe says N-word this and N-word that.
we can't say the N-word.
I'm not going to.
Ah,
Is
negro. It's a color.
Is
in Spanish.
Is Asian Constantine going to eat sushi and rice every day? Like, I don't understand what changes. Cuz Constantine to me, magic, deception, cunt, asshole, fuck everybody over. Black people can do that. White people can do that. Asian people can do that. Spanish people can do that. All colors of the rainbow can do that.
Yeah, that's true.
As long as he has a trench coat and smokes cigarettes, I'm good.
Those are your qualifiers? Trench coats and smoke cigarettes.
We'll get into that. We gotta take a beer break, and then we'll get into that because there is a scene in here I want to talk about. So we're gonna talk about it. I gotta.
But we're gonna do a prelude to the conversation.
Beer
that's gonna
break.
happen.
Pee. Do some other stuff, and then we'll be back.
No, don't say other stuff. That sounds very gay.
And we're back.
What the fuck?
From
Just like keep going?
Yep, just keeps going.
I was trying to play it back so we could get back on
Well,
whatever
no,
track,
we were talking,
whatever racist track that I was on, I guess.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, you were
But no,
racist as
no.
fuck.
But the thing is, Kurt Cobain, right?
Okay. You're looking at the picture.
Yeah. Can he be Russian?
Sure.
Can he be Italian?
Did he still write what he wrote?
Well, no, because he came from a completely different upbringing.
No, I get that, but like, I just. Okay, so you're saying, what if John Constantine was black, raised in Africa, came over on a slave ship? Yeah, I think
It would be a completely different story.
But like, if you're just changing the color of him and the story's the same, it doesn't matter.
But can you change them?
Sure.
Like, everyone is just as interchangeable as a
Yeah.
color palette on paint?
Nowadays, yes.
But I couldn't
Is
be
that crass?
But I couldn't be a different color or a different ethnicity and still
What do you
be
mean?
me.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
That's kind of the thing, though, that people are concerned about when this conversation is brought up.
Think so?
Yeah, because this is an entity that already exists. Can you tell the story of Mulan with a white person?
I mean, that's a very specific ethnic thing. I don't think this is.
He's a dude that comes from London.
There's
He's an
black
English
people in
bloke.
London. There's English
But the
people in
time
London.
period
Black
and-
English and people in London. Yeah, no, the time period too.
So Constantine is amorphous. He can be anyone, anything. He could even be a woman.
There's a Lady Constantine
In the book?
coming up in volume 21. I haven't gotten there yet, so I don't know what it's like.
You sound very excited.
I'm excited.
For it.
Yes, I'm excited. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of curious how they fucking spin that. Maybe I'll come back next week and say, that's all I'll say. Okay. So, let's try to progress this a little shit. A little bit.
This little shit.
A little shit, a little bit. So, we have this whole thing with, he wakes up in the insane asylum, he fucking goes, he has this Tim Hunter flashback. He realizes he needs his friends, so he goes and tries to find Chaz. Chaz isn't there. An old woman tells him that, hey, they're in the hospital. So Chaz is in the hospital, and there's ghosts waiting for John. Go figure. The guy who's fucked over 20 million people, and again, this is hearkening back to the earlier days. He's fucked over so many people, sold himself out so many times, shit gets crazy, right? He finds out that Chaz has cancer, essentially because of him, because of secondhand smoke. Chaz gets pissed and blames John, rightfully so, and tells him to fuck off and just to let him die. Because John is literally going to take all the demons that are tormenting Chaz. He finds out Chaz is being tormented by demons and putting him on some old woman, also in a coma. Chaz is in a coma. Also in a coma that is going to die anyway. She's much older than him. Chaz says, why would you do that? You fucked me over. Talks about the favor that... Because John always says, hey, you owe me. He killed Chaz's mother-in-law years prior in previous comics.
That's the chip that's owed.
That's what John always plays as a bargaining piece, because he basically killed her for Chaz. She was a bitch, all said.
Oh, that's why Chaz likes him?
I don't know.
No, so
him and Chaz have had a tumultuous relationship through all the comics.
That was one of those very impactful moments in Western comics that you don't see very often. Just that decision that Constantine has to make with Chaz. Like, Constantine realizes that this is his best friend and he's just using him. And he's trying to offer him like a grain of hope in this very terrible situation, and his friend's just like, yeah, fuck you.
Yeah. He's like the first used friend that's called him out for his bullshit. So Constantine fucks off. And for all we know, Chaz dies. Right?
You think he's coming back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe as a ghost. I don't know.
So the ghosts have shown up twice in this issue? Mm-hmm. Are they the same ghosts both times, or do they correlate to different aspects of his existence that are occurring?
They correlate to a lot of John's past.
But are they the same ones that are showing up, or are they specific?
Well, it's more the ones he meets earlier on, you don't really know who they are. Sorry, I'm looking.
Because it would be interesting to see if the ghosts that show up represent the exact moment in the comic. Some sort of insane parallelism that you would only catch if you were a hardcore fan of the Constantine series, the Hellblazer series, or if they're just repurposed images to fill an extra space at the end.
So the ghosts that first show up, they're not really specific. Some dirty fuckers clawed out Zatanna's eye. That's okay. She always said nobody ever looks that high anyway. Meaning Zatanna only looks at her tits. A yellow demon's busy ripping out his own host's heart. Hasn't improved the prick's scansion, sad to say. An elemental girl who's sort of, but not really my daughter. She's screaming with her hair on fire. And the ghosts, oh god, the ghosts of so many who never deserve to go. Which leads you to believe these are people that he's let die over the years, which is pretty par for the course for Constantine. Meets himself. Raven Scar.
Well, no, it was just like a callback, an echo in the storytelling to have the ghosts come back.
Well,
Insofar as that you mentioned it again, so
it's
just as a cursory
more
reader.
it's more so when he goes and meets Chaz. It's him, the worm. Him, but not him. He can see us close enough. The Yaldson, the muck spout.
Were those real words? Real words there?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's back. Oh, we were right to linger here, right to possess the little cat mite friend. Constantine's back. At last, we shall have our revet. And then he says, shut it. You cheated and hurt us. You overthrew us in unfair combat. Calling back. You disappeared. We thought this would be the place to wait. You know, I'm curious how much of this butts up with Justice League Dark, the end game of that, but, you know,
Wait,
obviously he's been away
aspect?
for a while. The you disappeared, we thought this would be the place to wait. So, like, he obviously hasn't been on the scene in a while, which could harken back to the end of Rebirth. It could also... Who knows what happens in Dark.
I took these as entirely autonomous entities from any continuity that is going on based on what this comic has been saying before.
You've been gone for years. We knew you'd abandon your minion. Oh, you'd never abandon your minion, Chaz. We have caused him such agonies so you cannot imagine. We won't release him until you have cut your own throat. So, they're tormenting him. These are people from his past, demons from his past. So, let's get past that, because we're like 3 hours in. So, he leaves the hospital when Chaz tells him to fuck off. He's dejected. He's upset. His own future self told him to live his best life and he'd be happy. And basically, he's like, what's the point? Fuck that. He sees a store window with, up until this point, he does not have the trench coat. He sees the store. He breaks the fucking window. He gets the trench coat. I'm a nasty piece of work, Chief. Ask anybody. So what matters? And he talks about Timothy Hunter, pint, then a kebab, then we'll see. He wants a kebab, a nasty one. Meaning, he already knows living life in the loam. He has that.
He already knows what life is in London. You don't
Yep.
get good food. You get
Well,
shite.
and I wouldn't say that. It's the life of Constantine. He lives from the bottom of the barrel. You know? And out of the window crawls his future self. Oh, John, it's relative. It's all relative. None of it really means anything. You have to know that. You had to know. Had it right the first time. Madness is the only constant. And it kind of sets the scene for Hellblazer. I mean, this last page, his future self, madness is the only constant. If you've read any Hellblazer, you know what's coming. If you haven't read any Hellblazer, you know what's coming.
So, quick question. We just talked about that comics trope guy saying that we don't need an event book to tell the editorial people
You're right.
and the viewers how they're supposed to be partaking of their preferred character of the week.
Well, no.
So then we got a reboot version of Constantine telling the editors that the only constant in Constantine is the chaos.
Here's the difference. You don't need, and this is what he said, you don't need a story to reboot to say we're going to do lighter stories or darker stories.
This entire
or different
thing
stories.
was a reboot
Hold up.
of the Constantine.
When was the last time Hellblazer was unpublished?
But the argument was
No,
we don't
no,
need a story
no.
rebooting to tell the story. We just need the story.
But that's different. That's different than Hellblazer. Okay, so he also talked about how when there's reboots, it's to basically pander to the editor's wants, right? The editor wants a different trope going forward. Lighter story, darker story, whatever story. Superman has never stopped being published, right? There's no breaks. Superman is constant. Batman is constant. I would argue The Flash, Wonder Woman. All these things have a month break, if that.
No, they're constantly in circulation in one form or another.
Hellblazer has not been in circulation for at least 6 months, if not longer.
But this issue didn't do anything.
It reintroduced a character to the universe.
But he is currently in Justice League Dark. He has been introduced into this universe for the last year.
I would argue that is not the Constantine going forward in the DC Black Label.
But this is an event on a reboot, a single issue event reboot for the hero, telling the reader that nothing has ever changed. Telling the editors that nothing has changed. That there's going to be all these crazy, tumultuous things that the character has gone through, will go through, has gone through, is going to go through again. We have the chaotic, crazy future. We've got the comeback to the insane asylum, which he has been to multiple times. We have the projected future in which Constantine perceives himself as being happy, cannot actually come to grips with being happy.
That's new.
Okay, well that's so they got one thing in there
It's
that is
not.
worthwhile.
It's not for you.
For me,
It's not for an experienced reader.
this isn't
The first issue? No.
the presents.
Yep.
It's for the old readers.
It's for new readers. This
So
is specifically for new readers. There is
But that's not the. But the argument has been that we don't. We just want the stories continuing and being good, and those are good enough jumping on points. Yes, Hellblazer #1 was good, but this is not necessary. Nor was the Tim Hunter. We're gonna be in a book for.
But hold on. You've never read comics in your life. You've never read Hellblazer in your life. Is this a good... hold on. Be objective
Dude,
for a
let
minute.
me stretch a minute, man, without jumping on me.
Well, be objective for a minute. This is a pretty good introduction to John Constantine. Now, you, as an experienced reader / listening to me bitch and explain and talk about how cool it is...
That's
like
all
you,
I do.
yeah, you know
Take
a
a
lot.
shot.
You know a lot because of how much I talk about this. But like you've also read Hellblazer. You've read Constantine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you know what he's about. There's some new concepts in here. Him meeting his future self. Like I'm not saying this whole thing is like a groundbreaking thing. But it's reestablishing him as a character who's been out of the universe for quite some time.
But he hasn't been. He's been in Rebirth, which happened. I don't know when that.
It's
like
at least over a year
2
ago.
years, maybe.
Yep.
And he's been in Justice
and it
League.
ended.
But he's been in Justice League
Yep.
Dark for a year, so he maybe had a year break in there where he wasn't in existence.
Okay.
So Constantine.
Hold on. Let's back up. Justice League Dark. He was in it for like 6 issues.
But
and
he's
he
in
was
it.
gone for a while.
But
Long
he's
time.
in it.
It doesn't matter. That's like, okay, alright, you want to go there? There's Hellblazer, and then there's Justice League Dark, right? That's just like saying there's Batman, and then there's Justice League. What was going on in Batman had nothing to do with what was going on in Justice League.
But you are perturbed about these fucking reboots and the editors talking, the writers talking to the editors and trying to reestablish a character in. We just talked about this. This is.
I'm not perturbed. I brought up what the guy brought up.
You sounded a wee bit miffed
Did I?
at the whole concept. You were saying
here's
that.
Here's the thing. Like, all right, you want to reboot Hellblazer?
Just fucking do it.
Well, no, it hasn't been on the market in quite some time. Like, you want to reestablish?
Constantine has been on the market.
Hold on. No, he has not.
He's been in Justice League Dark for a year.
That is completely different because Justice League Dark, you may as well say Justice League fucking fuck Wonder Woman in the ass because that's all it's about. It's about fucking money. Now,
you said you like that.
Fuck you. Number 1.
That's okay.
Number 2.
I don't go that way.
Let me fucking talk here. Hellblazer, as himself, as John fucking Constantine, has not been in the market for probably close to 2 years. And I will almost bet on that. As a standalone comic.
As a standalone comic, I will agree.
Has he been in Justice League Dark? Yes. I'm not almost. No, fuck this. It's like saying what's happening in Justice League is what's happening in Batman. It's not. Straight, plain, simple, fucking whatever. They took a character who fits into the fucking thing and threw him in there. Hellblazer is its own standalone thing. Now, you're going to say, But you read it because John Constantine was in there. Yeah, you goddamn right I did. Because there wasn't any fucking other thing on the fucking market to fucking satiate that fucking... that urge. Same as Swamp Thing. Right?
But you would say that the actual number one Hellblazer was better than the
Oh, yeah.
Sandman Presents
Oh,
and the whatever one that
well,
was.
we'll just say I call it Presents Hellblazer because John Constantine Hellblazer, Sandman Universe. You want to talk about number one? We can talk about number
Jesus Christ, I don't have 2 hours, man. What was the Tim Hunter one? Do you have that in there?
Yeah, I didn't really.
That was
fucking
that was,
cool.
Well, no. So like this is the thing that I'm asking you about. Was that you had 2 issues that had John Constantine in it, but it didn't perpetuate the actual Constantine narrative.
It did. It puts him in the timeline that he is because it goes Sandman Presents Hellblazer. Then it goes Books of Magic, which all of a sudden Constantine has a cell phone, which is crazy. And then you have Hellblazer number 1, where John realizes he's in 2019. Which is a jump.
Let's go! Woo!
What do you mean, let's go? You're really criticizing this shit. This, in my mind,
Well, no,
is like pretty fucking cool.
No, I enjoyed all 3 issues. I'm criticizing the fact that you were very adamant about the whole creating event books to talk to editors to
Here's
get
the thing.
new readers.
No. Let me.
Shit.
Okay, you want to know? They set everything up in one fucking issue, and then they went forward.
Which I agreed with.
Okay, Doomsday Clock. How long did that take?
I think like a week.
2 fucking years.
It was like 2.5.
Yeah.
2 and some change.
Yeah. That's some shit. There's a difference between, hey, we're rebooting. Here's everything you need to know. Go. This does not insult me as a Constantine reader. As a Hellblazer reader. This does not fucking insult me. Because you know what? They established everything they need to know. They fucking made enough references to the past where if you knew anything about Hellblazer, you're like, oh, fuck yeah. I even wrote, this is funny. You read the past? This is funny. Right? Ravenscar. That's fucking hilarious. He's been there how many times and now he just fucking does a narrative of how he got out. That's funny. Getting stabbed in the side with the taxi cab thing, that's fucking funny. He's fucked over Chaz so many times. He actually kills him this time. And he fucking gets stabbed in the side with the goddamn taxi cab thing. That's fucking funny. That is like a wink, wink, nod, nod. You guys know what's going on. If you don't know what's going on, you know that he has a friend named Chaz who basically threw himself into death, which he's done numerous times before. Right? Mm-hmm. He's done it numerous times before. Now, as a Hellblazer reader, I might be like, well, you already did that. But you're reestablishing a fucking character. He's been out of comics for over 2 years. I picked up the last fucking issue when we went to Powerhouse Comics. I don't even remember the last time we went to Powerhouse Comics. It's been at least 2 years.
It was summer sometime.
This past summer?
Yeah.
No.
No?
No. It's been over a year.
No, that's impossible.
This past summer, okay, so we went to C2E2 in March, right?
And we didn't go any
Nope.
time in between there?
Nope. I would say the previous winter, January, February ish, is when we went. I know there was snow on the ground. I know between C2E2 and now, we have not gone to Appleton to Powerhouse Comics. It's been a long time since we've been there. And I also know at C2E2, I was not looking for any of those comics. I had them all. I was good. This summer, we went to Milwaukee probably 0 times. And we went to Green Bay quite a few. We
Wait, what the fuck?
this
That's the
past
only. No,
year,
so we went. What's the point of this conversation again?
I'm saying Hellblazer has not been in the market for like 2 years. They
Okay.
need to reestablish it.
So we went. We
Now,
went to Powers. The Powers in Appleton. Yeah, I agree with that.
Powerhouse.
So that was where the discrepancy in my mind was, because there's the Powers in Green Bay.
Okay,
And then
alright.
I
Powerhouse.
was like, I was pretty damn sure that we've been
Oh,
to
yeah.
Green Bay together.
Yeah, we've
and
been
you're
to-
trying to tell me that we haven't been there.
I'm just saying, I picked up the last issue of Hellblazer
Okay, yeah. Totally
at
down.
Powerhouse.
Yeah.
That's been like a couple years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Completely agree.
My point is, they need to reestablish the character. Now, has he been in Justice League Dark? Yeah. Has everybody been following Justice League Dark? Probably not. This is reestablishing him as a character.
No, which is good. It was a good read. I totally get it. But the thing is, if you are a Constantine fan, you're going to pick this book up regardless. You've been reading Justice League Dark the entire time. If you are a new reader who has never heard of Constantine, and you want a good book to read to get you into the Constantine spirit,
That's a good one.
but don't you just want the story that's going to be going forward? Because the whole concept of Johnny C talking to Johnny C, old guy, isn't going to show up whatsoever in the main story.
It plays into this.
Let's go!
Okay. So we start out with the horsebacks. You find out that it's killing drug dealers, right? John gets thrown out of the bar for telling shitty ass jokes, right?
Which he's wont to do.
Very dated jokes, mind you. And then we find out that he's in 2019. Okay. This is very, I want to say new, because in all the Hellblazer that I've read so far, I've never heard a date.
So you're okay with politics being thrown into your comic book?
How's it political?
By virtue of signifying a date brings with it all of the current topical conversations that correlate with the date. Thus, the female bartendress
Okay.
talking the way she does, Constantine
She's a
being
bouncer.
out of sort. You had just said that he was telling out-of-date jokes. the entire punchline of his
So
comments.
the Prince of Wales is due to stay in a swank hotel, right? But his PR team are worried about scandals. They've called ahead. Your Majesty, says the concierge, just to let you know, we've set your TV's adult entertainment to disabled. And the prince gives him a look and says, well, I like the way you think, old chap. But let's start with it to set to brunettes. And I'll let you know how I get along. It's not really dating anything. It's more or less...
You had said that they were out of time jokes, man.
No. Well...
You said they were dated.
Okay. Yeah.
They didn't fit in with the current time. They're fucking hilarious.
Okay. So the bouncer says, the landlord cannot take a joke, I expect. Listen, I'm guessing you've been away a wee while. What was it? Abroad? Jail? She's saying it's dated. It's a pretty general joke, though.
But it's more or less talking about Constantine because he hasn't shown up for 2
but
years.
Here's the thing.
He's never been put into a dating point in time.
Whoa. How do you know? Because it's 2019, you're still smoking cigs, and you picked an artisanal microbrewery full of hipsters to try out your off-color comedy. It's not someone... Okay. I fucked up and said it was an outdated joke.
It still is.
She says it right there. I don't know. To me, that could be any time. But, whatever. Okay. So he gets kicked out of the bar. He meets the woman bouncer. Right?
Take number 3 on the password.
Fuck you. He has some conversation with her. She's like, I'm not gonna fuck you. He meets a dude whom, if you've read any fucking Hellblazer, you know who he is.
I don't know who this guy is whatsoever.
Oh. Well, it sucks to be you. Did you enjoy it?
No, because I didn't know who he was. Hit me with that deep knowledge.
You said this was a great fucking issue. No, you're fucking playing your fucking bullshit.
No, it was a good issue. I don't know who that guy is, though.
Okay, we'll continue on. Who wants to kill him because he fucked him over? Basically, because you said could exercise it easy. $5,000 in 15 years, John? It just gets worse. He keeps getting fucked over. Hashtag go and read fucking Hellblazer, you fucking bunch of pussies. Bouncer takes him out. I'm not telling you. You can read that shit. Right? Okay.
Alright, so if you read one issue of Hellblazer, you have to know all of the history of Hellblazer. I understand now.
No. Let me ask you this. Did you enjoy this issue?
Which I have already said I did.
Okay. Was that a major hang-up for you?
Crazy ass name, dude, yes.
I don't believe you. Okay. Continuing on.
No, it was, dude!
No, bullshit.
What's
Bull
dude?
fucking shit.
No, I continued reading it.
It explains everything right here. Constantine, you shit. I knew it was you.
Not
15
this
years,
guy.
you shower of piss.
No,
What,
no.
Barry?
Not
Barry
this guy.
the traffic?
Not this guy. The other guy he talks to. Tripped me out.
We'll
This
see.
aspect
Yeah.
didn't matter to me.
Okay.
I've got like 17
Exactly.
beer bottles.
Exactly. Okay. So, we continue on. If you want to know who fucking Barry is, read goddamn Hellblazer. I'm gonna fucking trash my issue of fucking #1 Hellblazer. I'm gonna be pissed. He gets followed home. He gets jumped. Knocked the fuck out. And you find out the gang wants him to get rid of the horror specs in the park so they can sell crack. So who's the guy you don't know?
This guy, the main leader dude, he's got a crazy ass name.
Yep. And
And
you know what?
my question was, what does his name correlate to? Does he have a history in it? Is he vying off of a deity?
What's his name?
No, because I'm not like trying to hate on this. Like I enjoyed all of this.
He's totally new.
He's totally new.
Totally
He's
new.
got a crazy ass name though, and I didn't know.
Find it.
Ah man.
So basically, what happens is he gets jumped.
Yeah, dude, I read the issue.
I'm explaining it to the goddamn listeners. Can I fucking explain it to listeners? Or are you gonna fucking cut me off again? He gets jumped.
I'm just looking for the name. Don't worry about me.
I can sit here in silence. If that's what you want to do, I'll fucking do it. Alright. So he gets jumped. You find out that basically they know about the horror specs because every time they send a crack dealer into the park, they get killed. So John needs to take care of this horror specs. You find out that there's two dudes that are part of the gang, the Peckham Rye, and one of them's a mute and the other talks. He gets sent out on a blood run to basically jump him in, and John is stuck with the mute to go to Peckham Rye, the park, and exorcise, we'll say, this demon out of the park so they can sell crack. The dude who's in charge is a crazy, let's call him a voodoo dude. He cuts people up and basically makes people do his bidding. He can see what's going on due to the armless, handless dude, whatever. And yeah, it unfolds. John goes to the park. There's a homeless guy there who believes in God. He calls out the mute as someone who does not believe in God. The Harspex shows up. Shit gets crazy. Oh no, I'm sorry. There's some people there that see the mute who knows sells crack. They're like, oh, we need some. The Harspex comes down, fucking sucks the soul out of that motherfucker. Goes back up. John's left at a loss. We don't know what happens going forward. So what's your problem? You don't even know the name of the dude.
Do you?
It ain't important because he's new. Gotta pee. Beer break. Alright, back from beer break. You realize that it's the horror specs, which I fucking said at the beginning. The horror specs is the demon.
Okay.
Okay?
Thems are the entities in the parks.
Correct.
Okay.
So.
I thought that was correlating to that guy.
No, he's like some sort of. That's what happens when you drink a lot of beer.
So that's not actually his name.
Voodoo
See,
dude?
no. Like, Jesus Christ. I hope Psy Superior has better writing than the Voodoo. I thought the Horospex was that guy's name. I guess I misinterpreted it whilst I
dude.
was reading it.
Well,
So the Horospex
well,
is
maybe he is conjuring the Horospex against his own people.
Okay, so the Horospex is an actual mythological entity.
Correct.
Okay. From what religion?
Oh, I don't know about that. I just think it's a fucking deity. It's some sort of demon. I would say demon. So
They seem very
Satanism?
angelic, though. They seem very.
Could be. Could be.
Because that was my interpretation of it. They seem very holy and then. But not. Like the very blight of the Christian aspect that once you view upon a thing that is so holy, it turns from man's eye into an atrocity. The whole reason that the higher echelon of angels have 6 wings is to cover their eyes, to cover their chest, to cover their feet, because it is too holy for individuals to look upon.
That's interesting you say that. In religion of ancient Rome, a Haruspex was a person trained in practice a form of divination called haruspicy. The inspection of the entrails of sacrificed animals, especially the livers of sacrificed sheep and poultry. The reading by omens, specifically from the liver, is also known by the Greek term hepatoscopy.
Hey, what would they find in our livers?
Haruspice was a person trained to practice a form of divination called haruspicy, the inspection of the entrails, which is kind of interesting because that's what that dude
Is
does.
doing, yeah, he's like fucking tearing up people. So, I didn't read 2, but you read 2. Does this character continue on in the story arc? Like, does number 2 actually lead into a larger story?
Don't remember. It's
Well,
been like over a month, dude.
Well, you read number 3.
Not yet. It's in the mail.
Seriously? Oh.
Yeah, January.
So it doesn't have staying power, is what you're telling me.
I mean, I wanted to talk about that too. Like, what's staying power when you read fucking goddamn how many things in a month? I gotta keep track of so much shit. That's why I honestly am like really tempted to just fucking cut the whole shit and just buy trades. Like, I don't.
Hey, that's where I am too, man.
It's hard to keep track of all this shit.
Yeah, especially when it's a bunch of bullshit.
Even when it's not a bunch of bullshit. Like, I really liked Criminal. It's hard to keep track of that shit. I followed Black Science for years. It's hard to keep track of that shit.
No,
I read it, like, let's just say, you read it on the 1st of October and you don't get till the 1st of November, like, it's a long fucking time.
Yeah, see, I was very much of a fan when we were both hyped about random comics coming out. That was like a year ago.
Well,
When we were like, Justice League Dark, Odyssey, Batman, blah blah blah, like, oh, what's gonna happen? Oh, this hype. And then we got wise to the fucking game.
that's like, I don't know if it was Image or whatever. Like, they were talking about instead of releasing comics, they were just going to release trades every like so many months. I'm not opposed to that now going forward, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but see, it gets very tricky in the whole like the creators what they're doing because the Marvel DC aspect is actually very beneficial for the writers, the artists, the editors, the letterers, the colorists, because there's so much that is being produced, so that allows a vast amount of jobs to actually exist. Regardless or not of whether it's drivel, these people are still getting paid. The content they're producing is not really good, but there are other jobs created for these people to actually get themselves into a position where they can start creating very good works of art. Where if you go with the
But
image model, where you go down to just producing graphic novels.
no, no, no. Image isn't doing that. One, two. They get to this point where they can create these fucking, let's call them the Mona Lisas of comics. Are those good to be consumed issue by issue? Or would they be better consumed by trade?
Which is where I was going with my point, to
Right.
getting to the trade. By having an industry that is only pushing trades, you're going to negate these individuals' ability to get to the point where they can just start publishing trades. Because there's practice that comes into it, hours that you have to put into it. Like, the reason we know King, Tinian, Snyder, Moore, Grant is they had many, 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 many hours put into this thing to hone their craft. And if suddenly we're just saying, like, we're going to bottleneck you into this project that you have to put 6 issues in, 100 something pages in, and you're not going to actually see the fruits of your labor, like, that fucks up the entire career path that these individuals have.
I would argue it's the way the industry nowadays where you don't have these places where they can practice.
But you do. You have Marvel and DC that is continuously pushing out.
No. I'm saying like Alan Moore got to start in the European. I don't know what the fuck they were called. Basically, he wrote like short stories and shit for like a magazine. That's how he started. I would argue, how does a comic creator now get his start?
Oh no, it's really easy. YouTube,
Okay.
Instagram.
So instead of DC and Marvel pushing these single issues, be like, hey, creators, Go cut your teeth in YouTube, Instagram, fucking blogs, whatever. We'll come pick you up, and you are going to be ours for... And I don't understand what the issue is. I mean, Snyder's written how many trades worth of shit? And I'm guessing he started on Swamp Thing because he wasn't a well-known writer. It's not like...
No, dude, he started an Image.
Snyder?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was doing American Vampire. He was doing American Vampire before he was ever in DC.
Okay. So he did that. DC gave him a chance at Swamp Thing. I know he did Swamp Thing before Batman. Right at the same time.
Yeah, it's like a stepping stone thing. You start out as an independent creator. You do something that's very well received. You get into the major.
So no. So back up. So we're talking about how an Image is doing trades instead of whatever. Why wouldn't DC and Marvel do it if Image is your first step and then stepping up to DC and Marvel is the next step?
No, because DC and Marvel just likes that cash flow. They don't care about content. They care about there being a lot of content, not quality content.
I stand behind Hellblazer.
No, it was good.
That's all I got, man.
Okay. You have been listening to Toucan Rant.
That's how we're gonna end it. Okay, well, yeah, I don't really have anything else. I'm sorry, I'm fucked up. Don't know what's going on right now. We're just two toucans who can rant because we got two tall cans.
Peace out.
That's not it, is it?
It's not it. No, it was like close, but not really.
I do the same thing. We're just two toucans who can rant because we got two tall cans.
We're just two toucans.
Oh yeah, we're just two toucans with two tall cans who can rant because we got two tall cans and a couple of long necks.